The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies.
Tape never lies.
Starts now.
The tape never lies.
Here is what the Tape Never Lies Network means to me. Now, there's a lot of sites out there, a lot of fan sites and all that stuff, but there are few, if any, that matches the knowledge, the wisdom, and the charisma of the Tape Never Lies Network. It is what I rely upon each and every week to find out what's going on with our Chicago Bears. Listen, I like the Sick podcast. It's fine. Its host is okay. But for me, the money site is the Tape Never Lies Network. Watch it.
The following show is for mature audiences only.
Watch the tape, and when you see the tape, you know the tape doesn't lie, and there's just the tape doesn't lie.
Man, damn. Then the idea that now we have a pink locker room, so we're like, what? This is bullshit. So then he's like, managers, during game, I want you to go out and get some black spray paint, because after we kick Air Force's ass, we're gonna paint this locker room black. Dude, we go nuts. Right? We're all fired up. This is it. This is gonna be great. We're gonna kick their ass. We go out there, we beat the shit out of Air Force. Come back in the locker room. The manager's got the spray paint. We're shaking the cans. We're like, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? It's not the Notre Dame way. We can't do this. I honestly think that he actually had the manager paint the locker room pink.
Just to fire you up.
Yeah.
I guarantee. I'm telling you. The biggest difference I've been around football my whole life. This fucking franchise has been run by a bunch of pussies forever. And right up at the top, there is. But they've given somebody with a little bit of a backbone. And Chris Zorich, you can attest to this. You don't have to call anybody out, but Mike Ditka ran a team with accountability. Oh, by the way, it's no coincidence that they actually fucking won consistently with him. Because there was accountability, there was you either are going to hustle to the fucking ball and tackle and block. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if you're Andy Reid's offense and this fucking guy's offense. If you don't go out there and block and tackle, pardon my language to your son, cussing up the storm, man. But if you don't, then you ain't going to win. And I believe David Montgomery is going to make Justin Fields the guy. The running game and this defense, I'm telling you, the Roquan situation is a distraction. It sucks. I want to get into that with you, but I'm telling you, Dave, I think you're way off, because Matt Nagy was like a fucking decaying tooth. If you keep sitting that shit in there, it's going to take down all the other teeth, right? You pull that motherfucker out, you are all of a sudden better. Will the Bears ever do Hard Knocks?
At some point, they're going to have to. They're going to run out of franchise. The Bears don't want to do it. And
there's criteria for it.
Yes.
Who to be on.
Yeah, you can only turn it down once, I believe, now with the new rules. So.
Ted Phillips that's the year he retires. I'll tell you that. He'll be like,
yeah. So this is way back when. You remember over at the old place where it was the old office building in Lake Forest, across the street from Lake Forest College?
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't have a training table, and so they brought in like pizza and fried chicken and brown chicken and pasta was sponsored, so they brought all this stuff in. Well, they charged us $5 for the meal. for lunch.
Food they were getting for free.
Probably, yes.
So one day, and I'm down there, and everybody's paying the fine. But here's the funny thing: like on your check. So let's say you make, and at that point there were 16 games. So let's say you're making $1.6 million. So every week you're getting a check for $100,000, but then there's a little entry for the 4 meals you had for lunch, $5 a piece. That's $20. So like you're getting $100,000 minus your taxes, and then you're getting minus $20 for lunch, right? So one day I remember Richard Dent going down there, and you're supposed to tell them the day before if you want lunch. So
you have to reserve your lunch, Dave. You got to reserve your lunch.
This is an NFL franchise.
Yes. This is a true story. It's unbelievable.
So I'm down there. I'm getting my lunch, and I get my plate out there. I gave him my name beforehand, and apparently Rich forgot. So he gets down there, and Russ Reeder, you remember him, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one in charge, and he's like, sorry, Rich, you can't get lunch.
You're on the air, baby. You're on. You did it. You made it.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go.
Trading up. 100.
Yes!
What?
Oh my
Here
God.
it is! Just recorded.
Oh, shit! The tape never lies.
The people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition. Take over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stuck like the two and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Teven. Cuts had to be me, we added the barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool, drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane. Give me some fucking names. We do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unchairs. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we're keeping it 100.
Keep it 100. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it.
Keeping it 100.
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping it 100. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Birds never lie. Yeah, exactly.
Yo! This is Claudio the Barber, and this is TTNL's Keeping It 100, the best Bears show on the planet, bar none. Listen, Roquan is back, Dazz is out, the Bears are 2-0 after a dominant performance on all 3 phases. So you know we got a lot to talk about. You know we got a great show. We got one of the only people at ESPN who actually knows who Ryan Poles is. Bears reporter Courtney Cronin coming on. So let's get to it. Let's bring on the boys. Shane, the smartest man. Marshall.
That was good, Claudio. I like that line.
He's got the timing down. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yo!
I'm like,
you guys seeing this?
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Alan Bratcher unable to attend tonight. He is currently at work doing more logos for the new TTNL Fantasy Football Show. Logos 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Gotta get it right. You have to get it right. It's a big job.
I thought you had some real breaking news, man. Tonight, man, I feel like a racehorse in the stockade, ready to rock. Get out of the gates.
Right.
Well. We're ready to go. The Chicago Bears. It's funny because like the whole landscape of Bears, what do we call it? Podcasts and all these people. Everybody knows how to break down tape all of a sudden. Everybody knows how to do it. Every time I turn around, someone else is breaking down. I just know the original. That's what I do. And I'm up for the competition. I'm just saying that. On the show.
Those fighting words, Cam Ellis.
Oh yeah. Oh,
ding,
God.
Ding.
Cam Ellis, man. I know you're watching, Cam. I would love for you to come on the show. Because anytime anybody takes a contrarian piece of shit stance in the corner, it's that put him in a body bag Johnny kid. You know, he's not Johnny going out to fight.
I understand there's a group of fans in every fan base that are mouth breathing idiots. We understand that. Yes. But Cam literally groups. If you question anything that the media puts out there, he's just going to come back with condescending remarks. And that's literally, go back, just look at it. That's all his timeline is. And it's just, I mean, whatever. You can come on. There's a place for it, but shit gets old. I mean,
I don't know where that place
is. How about give some fucking Bears news? How about give some fucking Bears news?
Exactly.
I don't know.
At the end of the day, the tape has never lied. And this network, how many things do we have to be telling the truth about before anybody else is? Now, all these little trolls and all these little fucks coming around buzzing like gnats. The reality is there's a expectation I want a maniacal football coach. I want people that are going to hold people accountable. All of these things we've said for fucking 4 years.
We were both scared, Phil, talking the other day. Like, what are they going to do? And then
tell the story.
Yeah, Phil and I were talking privately on the phone about this third preseason game. He's like, bro, I don't have a great feeling about what they're going to do. And I said, I really don't either. I don't know what direction, because if they decided to just sit everybody or give them 5 plays, I was going to have a big problem with it. To me, it didn't make sense.
Rant of all rants. And listen, Shane, we were talking literally 40 minutes before that.
Yeah. Presser.
Coach Eberflus presser. And I was like, it's August. I don't want to be in that position once again where the Bears have stupidity. The fan base is one thing. All of these fucking wannabe analysts on ESPN is another thing. And you could see the narratives and all that, but to have you fall right into that category where you're going to now turn the tables and we're going to be like, you're doing it wrong again, Bears. You got to play your starters. There's no rhythm. You don't even know your fucking starting offensive line yet. You don't know your quarterback's rhythm. I thought you missed an opportunity to get Justin more reps last week. I hated the fact that he didn't fucking challenge. There is no meatball on this fucking network. That's on the seesaw of it. I'm not agreeing with my guy Dave Kaplan. Bet the under. They're going to win 3 games, whatever anybody's saying. I don't believe that. But I believe it would have been a big fucking loss if the Bears didn't play a half. Now, there's going to be those same motherfucking dumbasses, blog boys, trolls that are going to go out there. And if something happens in football and there's an injury, God forbid, well, they shouldn't have played him, Claudia. I'm telling you. You can't have it both ways. You can't. You don't bubble wrap football players. You play. You play. And the Chicago Bears have zero winnings. Zero. You're not winning. How do you build a winning culture? By winning. That's it. It's that simple. And they've done everything right. This deserves a lot of praise. Because me and Shane were just telling the backstory. My gut was telling me they're gonna fucking mess this up and not play these guys. They're gonna play 5 plays and out, bubble wrap. Let's watch Sam Mustafa on the sideline with his fucking hoodie on or whatever, sweatshirt. What are we doing? We should be competing. What was that coffee? Good to the last fucking drop. That's what it should be. What was the name of that? Folgers? Folgers fucking coffee. Good to the last rep. Get every rep out there. Yeah. It's like every producer on this network is held fucking accountable. Some people can't take that heat. Some analysts can't. They flip-flop. They want to be right. Stand in your fucking lane. I don't agree. I'll get it out of the way. Teven Jenkins at guard. I don't. I think it's dumb. He's better than all of the tackles. I saw it. Now, the weirdness and all that, I'm not there. But I don't agree with it. But I do agree with playing your best 5. I do agree. So how you decide to do that, and I'll stay in that fucking lane forever. Just like with Kyle Long. Should never have been a guard. Should have been a tackle. But we're going to see how that plays out. I don't know. But again.
Sorry, that was me.
But again, I believe it's so important that us TTNL fans, how about that? Because anybody could be a fair weather Bear fan. I said that too 3 years ago. I said it too. Yeah? Did you say it on television every fucking week? I don't know. But I know where I stood. I know where Shane. I know where Cars. I know where Claudio was. Even though he thought it was only 17 shows, I knew where he was. Now
17 shows, 24 logos.
Claudio's still looking for fucking logos. That's a whole nother story later in the show. But yeah, I'm excited that we're going to see this offense put out there.
You know what I'm excited about?
Well,
breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
It only took 2 fucking
there
years, man.
Look
at this shit.
You could be the smartest man too.
Right.
Look at that. Just get the hoodie.
Holy shit.
Color options. Look at this.
How many times you go through those logos, Shane?
Cherie's got a smartest man blanket. I know, she said. Right, Cherie? Look at this.
Cherie's got a smart. You even got pink.
All these color options.
Wow.
Get over there. Get over there, TTNL fans.
Smartest man hoodies.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
See, Jackal ordered one for his entire family.
I love all.
Yes, we're gonna have smartest man balls too, Cherie, coming up in October.
We do need. I love balls.
Yeah. Oh,
TTNL. What the fuck is going on here? Claudio, maybe Claudio could pay fucking $70 and get about 7 of those.
Could you say that a little clearer, Phil? You love what?
Thank you, Jackal. Jackal wanted to let everyone know he's here. That's what that was.
Hi, Jackal.
Yes, Jackal also has a fantasy football show. We'll tell you about that too. But tonight we got Courtney Cronin, and Claudia was right about that. It's like Courtney obviously didn't give the notes to the ESPN.
Brett doesn't like it. I'm sorry, Brett.
Hey.
Still sending one to your mother.
Hey, Brett. Brett doesn't like it.
It's all right.
Listen.
Not everybody's going to like everything.
I love balls.
Right. Cherie likes balls. We like hoodies. It's cool. It's cool.
I love balls. With the football and TTNL, I love that. With Cherie up there. Yeah, Cherie is back tonight. Get her out here quick.
Yes.
Cherie, what's
there
up?
She
There
is.
she is.
There she is. She's back.
Maybe we'll see Will Mookie Hill back in that chat room tonight.
Just the piano for you, Cherie. How you doing? You glad to be back? Because I know we're happy you're back.
I missed you guys. My Wednesday nights are back to normal now.
That's right. Cherie's home. We missed
Cherie
you
is
too,
home.
Cherie.
Yes,
I can
TTNL
tell.
loves you. Familia, family, TTNL.
Cherie's
back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, CK, you ain't got to put my whole government out there. That's cool.
Oh, he put it all. But yes, we got Courtney Cronin coming back tonight to get us ready for the final weekend of Bears training camp. This is the final scrimmage of the Chicago Bears. They're going to be taking on the Cleveland Browns. Shane, friend of the show, Brock Hoffman, is going to be competing against those Browns. He's already talking to me and giving me some DMs. He's going to knock some Chicago Bears pancakes.
Yep.
He's going to flip some pancakes, he says. So we got some smack talk going on. We got the end of the summer, really. Kids are going back to school. The Chicago Bears, under Coach Eberflus and Ryan Poles, playing their last preseason game. And then we have final cuts. And we're going to play a little game tonight about final cuts. We're also going to be talking about Roquan Smith and that situation, him returning. And we're going to get into all of that with Courtney. She's coming up at the top of the hour. We got Cherie back. We also have Chris Jackal. And there our guy, Ivan Vargas, in the house tonight, guys.
What up?
What is up? Oh, we also have Youngblood.
What's up?
Hey.
Got a
Back
girlfriend.
from the 16-week cruise.
Made it.
You didn't get a fucking tan?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little right there.
He left the boy.
Would you have your arm hanging out the window or something?
Yeah.
Caden Whitlow, if you don't know, does all the opens every week. He puts together the highlights from last week's show to give you the rewind. Did someone put it up?
The man.
Exactly. Caden puts it up every week.
Exactly.
Every week. So Caden, someone put it up. Who's hitting that?
That was
Caden Whitlow. Glad to see you back.
Glad to be back.
Thank you for continuous. Even on your break, you were producing opens and stuff. So we got everybody in the house except Bratcher, who called out sick at the last minute. Jackal, you wanted to say something about that. You had some issue with it.
Got to be here, BHL. You know, it's like after the game, you got to show up right after the game ends, just like TTNL says, keeping it 100. Wednesday 8:30. You know what time it is, right? I mean, what the fuck?
Well, to
but he's got a work
Bratcher's-
event. He's got a work event.
Well,
so did you. You hit some.
It's
holes.
a reunion, so I've heard. He's going. It's the 1252 reunion. And they're having all of the staff and the 5 subscribers. It's gonna be lit, man.
You're on the air, baby. You're on. You did it.
Yes, they did it, Shane. They did it.
1252's got 5 subscribers. Claudio's got 47 logos. So it's just it goes hand in hand.
Oh my God.
Alex is the man.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight covering these Bears as we get you ready for the regular season. Obviously, we got a lot of news, TTNL news. We're bringing everybody on the show as we anticipate some heated debates and discussions in regards to the final 53, the starting offensive line. Who are the starting linebacker? Who's the corners on this football team? Is my guy Brisker going to be ready for opening day? All of this stuff, including you guys and your chat room discussions, going to be live here on the air on the best Chicago Bears show on the planet. TTNL's Keeping It 100. Every Wednesday night we do it here live. There's no script. So
no script, but you know what? There's a schedule, Phil.
Is
that
there?
Schedule tomorrow night has what in it? You wanna...
We got a new show, Shane. We're going to put a teaser out there and open up the Patron network to everybody, Shane. And we have a new show coming out tomorrow night, so you can see what's on Patron, and that gets you prepared each and every week for your opponent. So it's actually, and it'll only be a few weeks until someone else decides to do the same kind of thing. Hey, I should do a show about the opponent. Anyway, but yes, tomorrow night, Cars Keys, the debut episode.
Season 1, episode 1. I had to add the little nerd vibe on the end for him. So
did you put the Jack Bauer countdown? Bink.
Oh, you'll recognize the countdown when we do it.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yep. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a 57-second countdown, one for each one of Claudio's logos.
Well, as the show goes, they get more
cars. Just wait, Claudio.
Man to the people. You know it's Cars Keys. Let's get it started up. Give me the car keys. Lakeshore Drive. Blog boys drive away with our texts like car thieves. Breakdown, we study tape and thrive.
Analytical preparation, that's what cause is given. Cars don't discriminate, teaching the men and women. Each and every week, Bears nerd to get your focus. Never manipulating stats, law, cars no hocus pocus. Cars keys, they never lost. Checking source, never gonna find a better scouting report. Cars going live with the smartest man, my bestie. Deciphering holes on the defense like Getsy. New show, uniforms, orange with the dark sea. Tape never lies, patrons, this is Cars
You know
Keys.
it's Cars Keys. Let's get it started up. Give me the car keys. Lakeshore Drive.
That'll be tomorrow night.
Little
the
taste.
Little taste. Little
Yeah,
little
just
appetizer. Hit it or quit it. Cars Keys. There you go. A little taste
Giving
of
up all the
that.
secrets.
Cars Keys. 59 logos for Claudio. 59 logos for Claudio.
You want me to keep
Sammy
it
the
100
Bull.
logos?
Sammy the Bull is in the chat room.
Be back.
When I see Sammy the Bull, I ask everybody, raise your hand, send some positive energy towards Sammy the Bull, and let him know you're thinking of him as
I love all.
Not that energy, Cherie.
Come on, Cherie.
Whoa.
Cherie.
Poor guy.
Sammy the Bull. Yes, we're here for you. And Ron G has been outstanding as of late. And he's putting together the Shane, you don't even know this, the promo documentary. As we wait for our guest, Ron G said, okay, I'm done with the documentary on TTNL. It's 45 minutes long. What?
And that's just Phil's intro to the documentary. That's not even the documentary. Real quick.
Then he goes, but I'm working on the condensed version of the. I go, okay, good, because I know we're all gonna like the condensed version.
The guy is always working. Cars was in
Always.
the Cars Keys brand on StreamYard today, and he texted me. He's like, I just got in there and I look, and Ron G's in there. Ron was hard at work, so
Ron does not play.
Great dude.
Ivan Vargas producing that music video, obviously, with Cool Kennedy, who's in the chat too.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy putting government names out there, but also great beats and music. We got some more surprise music from Cool Kennedy coming up. So many surprises. As Shane and I always get the advance.
Yeah.
I get the
Dude,
first advance.
That fucking 2400 Logos song is going to be sick.
Cost $700.
I know, so much.
Few more.
We're going to have that fucking Biggie hologram. It's going to be on there. Fuck it.
Listen, we're going to do some
fucking idea what you're talking
predictions.
about.
Oh man.
We're going to do some. So next week, the Bears. So we'll be doing the prediction show next week where we predict the Bears season and Bears, opening day, bold predictions will be back. Obviously, we haven't done that for these preseason games. They're not meaningless in regards to coaching, finding truths. They're meaningless in regards to final scores. Finding truths, finding the right players, finding the answers that you want is really what we were concerned about. And just like we started off the show, if you're just tuning in, smash the like button. But the Bears under Coach Eberflus seem to be doing something different. And that's called accountability and understanding the importance that it's not just good to talk about a rep. It's actually great to actually have them so you can find and determine who are the right fits that are going to be out there on Sundays. That being said, her first Sunday with the Chicago Bears is coming up soon. And I'm so excited to get her on the show, as she has been at camp asking the tough questions, as well as I really am not just saying this because she's a guest here. I just feel like she asks the appropriate questions. And when someone asks the appropriate questions and doubles down on it to get a clarification, if you will, that's what she does. But I'll let her speak because I got questions for her tonight. So she'll be on the other side of the chart answering. Let's see how she does there. No, she always does great. Let's bring her out. You know her from ESPN Sports and ESPN Chicago, AM 1000. She's the Bears beat reporter, Courtney Cronin.
With all the changes the Bears made this offseason, it also includes new beginnings for members of the media. Even though she covered the team in purple that continues to throw gobs of guaranteed money at Kirk Cousins.
No, God!
But more importantly, Chicago and Chicago Bears fans are excited to welcome her back home where she belongs. Yes, there are big shoes to fill, but she's just the one to fill them, and we couldn't be happier about it. Bears fans, TTNL fans, please stand up and brush off those welcome home mats and help us welcome the new Chicago Bears beat reporter for ESPN and ESPN Radio. She's Courtney Cronin.
Go Bears!
There she is.
Hey guys.
Every time we see you, you move to another room. Now,
I know. I'm house sitting at the moment. My mom and my brother are Northwestern fans, so they went to Ireland for the game coming up this weekend. So I'm in the midst of like making sure the flowers don't die while they're gone. So that's my responsibility.
They gotta be huge Northwestern fans to travel to Ireland to see.
There's just like a different level of fandom that I don't personally subscribe to. So, more power to them. Their bags got lost, so they're, figuring it out, I guess, on the fly. Traveling's not glamorous these days, but
we thought maybe you were hopping around trying to get away from Larry Mayer from, tweeting out illegal Chicago Bears updates, Courtney.
Yeah, I'm sorry I won't have updates for you guys the way that we did during camp.
This is ridiculous.
Limited to attendance, so you can maybe I'll just draw some still photos, and
that would be hysterical. Like you're the courtroom.
Yeah.
The stenographer.
That's my next job. So
get ready. Quick question in all seriousness, I hoped your mom's Keepin It 100 t-shirt wasn't in that bag.
If she packed it and she lost it, then that's on her. She's gonna have to tell you to get herself a new one because hopefully they get their bags. I've never lost luggage like long term, so hopefully that gets solved.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I saw a bunch of those out at Hallis though the last couple weeks, especially those training camp practices like 2 weeks ago. I saw a bunch of people kind of off in the distance. I could catch it out of the corner of my eye walking around. So the brand is clearly very strong.
Thank you, Courtney. I was hoping you would wear it when you were asking Coach Eber. No, I'm kidding. Keep it 100, Coach.
Oh, man.
He did keep it 100. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous 40 minutes before that presser that we were going to see Justin Fields 5 plays again and the offense out, and then we're just going to coast to the season. But the Bears did something that I prayed they would do. I didn't feel comfortable that they were gonna, but they did it. What are your thoughts on that Eberflus has come out openly and said, no, we're playing a half?
Yeah, I think it's the right move. I mean, when you have this young of an offense and not just Fields, you have a brand new play caller who's still, installing the scheme, getting guys to understand like his dynamic, his body language, like he's on the sideline now, like all these things come into play with why you're playing your starters a half. And certainly the defense benefits from it too. It's not just for the offense, but I think the offense and the operation and making sure that that is where it needs to be or close to it by week 1 is a huge, it's just necessary. You'd have to take the preseason on a case by case basis with every team. Like, I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to ever play in the preseason, and that, rightfully so, even with all the changes that they have offensively. Justin Fields is 23 years old. He's a young quarterback learning a brand new offense after having a different set of coaches last year at this time. So it's important. And, it's not going to look perfect. Like, I think most games in September just always kind of like look sloppy to me. I've covered the NFL now. I'm going in my 7th season. They always look like a train wreck by and large. And I think it takes time. It takes the first month of the season to get into a routine and a rhythm when you're playing in the NFL. And so don't expect it to look perfect week 1, but also, you would anticipate that 27 plays is not enough to go into the season with a brand new offensive line, all new starters across the board, even with Cody Whitehair moving over to left guard. And then, the receiver group too. I mean, we still have so many questions about that group and what's going on there. So yeah, it's the right move. 25 to 30 plays. He said they'll play up until the half. And I think that was, it's not something that most teams do, but this team needs it. So I thought it was, a smart move for Eberflus to come out and say that right away and to stick with it.
Courtney, what are your thoughts on I know we're Bears fans here and we hear it. We watched the broadcast the other night and it was very evident that they wanted to go out of their way just to drive home how horrific of a franchise the Chicago Bears are, and they're talentless. And I'm not just speaking as a fan, I'm speaking as an analyst, and I'm, as this show says, keeping it 100. I don't think that the Bears are anywhere near, I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL. I think they, like you said, have a lot of work to do, but I think that there is some pieces here that they can build on. I do think that there's some talent here, but what are your thoughts on this national narrative that the Bears are just, cellar dwellers and there's zero talent on the team anywhere? Mike Martz said today it's the worst offensive team that he's seen since the 0-16 Lions.
Yeah, I think some of that, you got to take some of that with a grain of salt, because the national reporters weren't out at training camp. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, there weren't people like that were stationed in Lake Forest from a bunch of national outlets doing their training camp tour. You'll see some things, people just come by for a day because they think, okay, this is probably the year that you don't need to cover the Bears that heavily from a national perspective. And you can sort of understand that, but sometimes, the way that I look at it is that if you're there every single day, like, local beat reporters are, you're going to have a different perspective on the team than national people who are maybe talking to people in the front office, on the coaching staff, and, evaluating what they've seen in these preseason games. Like, there's just a difference of opinion. I don't, and even back in the spring when there were a bunch of different power rankings that came out right after the draft, and I know Sports Illustrated had them as, 32, and a couple, I think ESPN might have had them at 32 as well. But it's, I think you have to look at it through a realistic perspective that, yes, there are pieces on this team that you can build around. Cole Kmet is poised for a breakout year. Like, the tight end position is going to be cemented as a foundational piece in this offense. Darnell Mooney's a terrific receiver. The jury's still out, obviously, on Justin Fields. Can he be that guy? And I know I am focusing only on offense with this, but that's not enough. Like, we have to look at it through a realistic perspective that, yeah, you have a couple pieces here, but you're so far away from the ultimate goal, which is why I think that national narrative around this team is so downtrodden on the Bears this year. And whether fair or not, they're going to have a chance to flip that on its head, or to prove that that's proven right. And I don't think you can really argue that they didn't do enough around, to build around this offense this year and to put Fields in a position to succeed. But you can only do so much in a year. That's where I think that what Ryan, I actually really appreciated what Poles, he seemed very kind of transparent last week when he obviously didn't speak on the broadcast, but they have a production meeting the night before. So clearly, his thoughts on Roquan Smith were very transparent. And I think we all knew at that point that they were not going to get a deal done, just with the way that he relayed. He's a good linebacker. Didn't say he's the best linebacker in the NFL. We need to pay him as such. He didn't tip his hand, and kind of stood firm on stuff. And also with the fact that, the roster could look very different even after the initial 53 is what, more or less what Poles told the broadcast crew. So I think there's still ways for this team to upgrade, but you can't realistically expect that they're going to be the sleeper team in the NFC. This year's about growth. It's about establishing a culture. And I know that a lot of people don't want to sit through the pain that comes with that for a team and the ups and downs. And one day it looks great. One day it looks like you can't even it's not even a version of playable football. There's lumps and pain with that, but that's what you expect from a franchise that's rebuilding and having to do so much just to get to ground zero. And then you build up from there. So next week they're going to be busy. They should be busy. If they're doing their jobs, they should be busy with the waiver wire and other ways to improve this roster. Cornerback depth, not great. Wide receiver depth, not great. You're third in the claim order. That's where you put your work in. And so I feel like
great point.
Ways to, make the roster look better than it does right now, and maybe address some of those concern areas so they aren't, I think that people think what they want.
Are they third, or wouldn't they be where the Giants drafted at 7th?
It's I was just looking at
7th.
It's top 10. I swear.
Yeah, I think it's 6th or 7th.
They're
still, you're up there. Yeah.
You can go light at certain positions now because of where you're in the claim order. So that's a good thing, I think, for them.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely. Especially at some of these positions like wide receiver and offensive guard, or wherever we will put people.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because let me turn the tide here. You had an interview with Justin Fields. Now, ESPN you work for, so I'm going to be very careful. I don't want to get you in trouble, but I thought they did a horrific job covering the Chicago Bears. They didn't even know who Poles was. They met him, but whatever, the director, whoever's fault now, it just reeked of bias, as Shane is saying. And that's the truth. Sitting here in Connecticut, I was like, do they even know what the Bears are literally destroying the Seahawks, but you have an agenda, it felt like. But you are there every day. So you have this sit-down interview with Justin Fields. And it felt like it was cut short for me. Was there a lot of stuff that was cut on the table that you felt like should have been out there?
Like that was just the 90-second version, more or less, for the broadcast. Like that was our Monday night countdown, but it was like on Thursday night last week for the preseason.
Yes.
We'll have a longer version at some point. I'm looking at the calendar. It's August 24th. It'll be before week 1. The year 2 quarterback storylines have been big for, all of us the 5 beat reporters who have year 2 quarterbacks that were taken in the first round last year. So mine should be airing at some point. But no, I mean, Justin is definitely a guarded individual. I mean, he's 23 years old. He's still kind of learning the dynamics between being in a market like Chicago and having to answer questions in front of a group of media that like it's a big group every single day. So I think he's getting more comfortable, and obviously, every time he goes up there to talk, it's gonna sound different, and I think he'll get more comfortable with it. But our sit down, we kind of bounced around a lot of different topics. I think some of the bigger things that I took away was just like what he talked about with this team, why it's different this year. Like it's a younger group. And I think that certain things like that, where you don't have Fields walking into a situation where it's like, all right, I know I'm the guy eventually, so I'm kind of like sort of the guy right now. So let me sort of establish my leadership. But oh wait, like I'm not actually the guy until week 3 when I get thrust into the mix. And like, it was not a good situation for him to be in. You got a team with Akeem Hicks, Allen Robinson, Khalil Mack, like established veterans. Like I can understand why it probably feels more comfortable for Fields this year. That's kind of what I gathered from talking with him throughout the preseason and during our sit down, that he's able to be himself a lot more this year, because you're coming in to a situation where there's no question. Like you're starting week 1. You know that this is your team. This is an offense built to you. Everything is catered to you here, to your strengths. So there's no doubt for him. And I know somebody got like all irked with me last week that like I asked him a question if doubt ever creeped in. Like how could it not? First off, like, let's be like realistic. Like the guy won the second he got to Ohio State after it didn't work out for him at Georgia. Instant, immediate success. And then all of a sudden you go to the NFL and your rookie year is a train wreck. How do you not have doubt? So like, I feel like he answered these questions pretty honestly, and I'm excited to see what the final piece looks like. I have a piece that I'm working on right now. It's a written component that goes along with it. I think goes September 2nd. So that's my big profile on Justin Fields.
Well, you gotta watch it, and I want to double down on this, Shane. Sorry. Courtney, honestly, this show, obviously keeping it 100, that you sit and I always talk about these GMs missing because they don't capture the love of a player who loves the game of football, or loves to be the leader, loves the challenge. So you're sitting across and you're around him all the time, this team. You can see it from a distance, body language, Jay Cutler, Grossman. You can also see it up close. Here you are on the sit-down, second-year quarterback. She does a tremendous job on ESPN. I keep that 100, guys. But your thoughts on the guy. Do you feel his comfort? Like he wants this to be his team? Did you get that? Did he come away with that? I don't want to ruin your piece.
No, I think that there's the belief, obviously, in himself, but the belief that comes from people close to him that he can bounce back from this, because like everywhere he's been, more or less, like there's been question marks around him that he's answered immediately. Like Georgia didn't work out, so he transfers. He goes to Ohio State, and that's not a place where you can just like walk in and win. Like he immediately has success and carries that over. And now, of course, there's reasons for that. And, he does really well when he's put in a situation that there's a lot of talent around him. He can maximize that ability. And some people say, well, does that just mean he's a product of his environment in wherever he is? Probably, yeah. There's so few scheme transcendent quarterbacks in the NFL. We expect everybody to be Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, and that's just not realistic. You're going to find guys that are more in the realm of a Matt Ryan, of a Derek Carr, of any quarterback that could be anywhere from top 6 all the way to top 15 and can maximize that talent around him. Now, I don't know, and I don't really frankly care where people have Justin Fields ranked right now, because he gets an incomplete after last year because it wasn't a good situation from the get-go. He wasn't the starter the entire year. I don't think it's fair to judge him on everything that you saw his rookie year when now he's in a completely new offense. But as far as the expectation, and this is a city and a team that's been starved for a franchise quarterback. I asked him about that. It's not just, you got to win games. if you're a franchise quarterback in Chicago, you're the biggest celebrity in the city. You are Michael Jordan status. And I asked him, I was like, 70 years. This has taken 70 years to potentially get somebody where we don't even have that answer if he's truly the guy just yet. He's like, well, I want to be the first one to change that. And so I think, obviously, what the hell else can he say, right? He's not going to be like, well, maybe I'll do it. No, I think that there's a lot with Fields that, quarterbacks now coming up are a completely different breed than they were, 5, 10, 15 years ago. And for someone like that, you're the face of the franchise. And to assume that at 23 years old, when you're still coming into your own as an NFL player, is a lot of weight. And so I think he's cautiously guarded within his own, keeping himself insulated away from all of this, but he's not dumb. He realizes just the magnitude that's on him here and everything that this team gave up to go get him. He could be the most important draft pick in franchise history. That's heavy. That's going to weigh on somebody. And
he is. There's no doubt about it.
It's how he has to balance that. That's going to be the story this year. If and when things don't go well, how does Fields respond? Can he grow within the confines of this offense and show signs of improvement, show, hey, I'm worthy of you guys building around me, continuing to build around me? Again, we're not going to know the answer on whether he is the franchise quarterback after this year. I'm convinced on that. There's not enough around him to show that, but can you show signs of, I'm getting there. I'm going in the right direction. And I'm worthy of being the guy that you put resources into from here on out.
That last sentence is the most important one. But go ahead, Shay.
Yeah, Courtney, I know this is your first year on the beat, first camp, but just people that you have talked to, maybe even behind the scenes, or what is the overall sense of looking back at Justin's rookie year? Mm-hmm. How much did they say, wow, this head coach really put him in a bad position? Or are they more so saying that Justin was more at fault with the way he played? Who are they putting it more on?
I think that, so they obviously watched, when Eberflus took this job, did his research, am I going into a situation that I have a quarterback I can work with? That's the first thing you have to do as if you're going to be an NFL head coach. Don't walk into a train wreck. And I know that they all watched Justin's film from last year, but the one thing I kind of gathered that was an interesting point, I wrote this last week. We got a chance to talk to some of the assistants, and Andrew Janoko, who was with me in Minnesota for a long time. He was Kirk Cousins' quarterbacks coach up there. He's coached a lot of different positions, but he's here with Fields. And his whole idea was that they didn't want to go in and tell him, you need to fix X, Y, and Z. You need to unlearn these habits. It's more just steering him in a different direction. Now, of course, there are fatal flaws within everybody's game. Justin Fields sometimes holds onto the ball too long. The coaches aren't going to just come out and say that, and especially come out and say it to him hey, if you don't fix this, this is going to be a serious problem. But even going back to OTAs, when he switched his footwork, when he drops back, because the drops in this offense are different than when you were in a straight drop back game. Like a 3-step drop might become like technically a 4-step drop because his other foot is in front of, or he switched his foot. Like it was his left foot before. Now it's his right foot.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it changes, and that's based on like what Aaron Rodgers did in this offense. Like a lot of guys end up, Matt Ryan, somebody else who does that in this scheme. So like it's stuff like that where they're not pinning the blame on, well, Justin, you didn't do this correctly, or we can blame this on Matt Nagy and his offense. There's obvious things that are happening within, with what happened last year. I think that they talked a lot. They talked a big game about, we want to get him on the move. We want to, tap into his natural athleticism and, his speed and get him outside of the pocket. Well, that didn't really happen. There were like 18 design rollouts last year. Like I looked up a stat the other night. It was an insane amount, and like of just like not a lot. And you saw how effective he was in a short span in the Seattle game just by getting him on the move, moving his launch point, like changing where he's going, rolling him away from pressure. Those are the type of things that they're trying to do this year to support him instead of changing changing the entire playbook of how he plays quarterback. I mean, of course, there's mechanics and there's things that make you more functional within this offense as a quarterback, but it's not, hey, you need to unlearn every bad habit or every habit you had and you need to get new ones, because that's just too much. Like he obviously got to this level because he's damn good at what he does. So like, how can you capitalize on that without having him like rework every bit of who he is as a quarterback?
He actually got reps with the starters in training camp for the first time in his career. Imagine that.
And this, I really want to say this, not as a question, because I have a question, but I think it's important fans understand, and I'm saying it to Courtney too. Football is a team sport. And when you have a culture where there's animosity instead of accountability, there's backstabbing, there's pointing fingers, and there's a known cloud, a black cloud of whispers and other where's my next job going to be? A quarterback, a young kid trying to learn in that environment is not put in good situations. So just having a culture where everybody's step for step communicating and understanding where the course is, I think is just going to be a huge relief for the Chicago Bears and surprise a lot of people alone, because it ain't just talk. Obviously, all the players are talking about accountability, hustle. Even Sam Mustafer is being held accountable with his freaking loafing. But I don't want to get started on my rant there. But I will ask you this. Roquan Smith, he has, what would we say, some weird moments as a Bear. You were covering the Vikings, but he was out for personal reasons. Then this holdout when he was a rookie. Now this hold in when he's a veteran. He very odd, we'll say. You've been around this situation and how it's came about to an end. Has his presence been odd to you with the Bears? Is it one of selfishness because they're projecting it like he's been great, he's done this, he's been a leader, but at the same time he's throwing shade at the whole? So what's the real truth behind that?
I mean, I think both sides played this thing poorly from the very start. So you go back to, his draft position, right? Like, so he's a top 10 pick. What was he taken? 8th overall in 2018. Like if you are taking a player within the top 10, this is all about positional value and draft slots. Like if you know that you're not going to be, that's why it's frustrating, because like the off-ball linebacker position in today's NFL, like don't draft those guys that high if you know that you're not going to pay them, because it's not the value of that position has changed. We have seen these contracts play out very poorly. Anthony Barr, CJ Mosley, Bobby Wagner, like it's not as lucrative of a position. It's why if you know you're not going to pay the guy top of market, why did you wait until this thing dragged out all the way into August? And that's would be my beef if I was him with the front office. Like if you knew you weren't going to pay me, then why weren't you trying to trade me to put me somewhere else where I could go get that long-term deal? Now, I don't think that Smith himself like played this thing correctly at all. And say whatever you want about player empowerment and guys wanting a seat at the table. Like players are smart. I understand that. I have an agent for my negotiations. Why? Because I don't want shit to get contentious, and it does in these things. This is why arbitration in baseball is one of the most like contentious, awful processes, because the team's basically trying to say, well, you suck in all these different areas. This is why we're not going to pay you that much. Certainly it doesn't get like, I mean, it gets like that to a degree in the NFL, but we just hear about it so much more in baseball because of, you know, it's all guaranteed money and everything else that goes with that. But I just think that it was such a tenuous situation from the jump where you have a brand new front office that's coming in. You know, you have somebody brand new negotiating contracts, handling the salary cap, a general manager who has intense scouting background. Does he have the negotiating background? Is he in there like negotiating numbers, like all that stuff? Like we don't know that. I tend to think that Ryan Poles' strengths are delegating that to other people. So they're trying to figure out what their process is. Right. And you have a player that you don't, this is why you have agents, like seriously. Like, and I know that Roquan Smith said he doesn't regret that at all. And that's fine if he wants to take that stance. But if you left a lot of money on the table, like whether it's upwards of $90 or $95 million, because you'd like to think, and I know he was upset and he, aired kind of some of the stuff. He wouldn't give the exact figure out there, but he did say that they put de-escalators in his contract. Well, right. It's not completely abnormal, just throwing that out there. But I just think that this thing could have been handled a lot sooner than it becoming a national storyline on August 9th when he releases a statement through NFL Network that he wants out and that, he's asked, it was a negotiating tactic for him to say, well, I haven't spoke with George McCaskey, but I hope to. I don't really know what he thought he could gain from talking to the owner who handpicked this GM and gave him a 5-year runway to try to get him to go on his side. Off-ball linebackers are probably not making $100 million a year. It's not that lucrative of a position. And sorry, Shaquille Leonard and Fred Warner have had better seasons before they got their deals than when Roquan Smith. And Roquan's an excellent player, but you have to point out all of those facts. And I think that when you are dealing with it gets emotional when you're talking about your own generational wealth and trying to set yourself up and feeling feeling slighted. I think that gets in the way of things. So it'll be really interesting to see how this year goes, because right now everyone's happy he's back, and all the players that we've talked to the last couple of days have mentioned how his presence just kind of changes things. There's an unspoken communication when he's out there. He's the glue. Of course he is. And he's a terrific player, but you don't want a locker room lawyer. That's how one agent put it to me. That I was doing a story on this last week, just what the perspective would be. You don't want that guy you don't want to have a player who feels disgruntled and slighted because you have other guys coming up that have deals, that are in line to get paid. This might not spell the greatest thing for David Montgomery. I don't know. We're going to find out very soon how this team feels about paying running backs. Beyond that, Darnell Mooney's got to get paid at some point. Cole Kmet's got to get paid at some point. Jalen Johnson, if Justin Fields works out, you've got to pay him too. So you just hope that this wasn't because I know at the end of the day, the Bears did make the right move in terms of cap planning, in terms of the valuation of the position by not giving him top of market money if they really don't think that he fits into their long-term plans. But how is that going to affect stuff down the line? Because this could have a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you're talking $123 million in cap available for them for the 23 season. And I said the thing with Roquan is he has no leverage at all. I think he played his cards way too quick when he put out that, Khalil Mack, when he did his thing, he got traded on September 1st, 2018 to the Bears. So that was much later. It was literally the week of the first game. Roquan can go out and become an first team All-Pro for the first time in his career, and Ryan Poles can bounce the franchise tag on him for the next 2 seasons. So that part of it is what it is. But Courtney, I just wanted to shift gears a little bit because I know you have a limited amount of time. With you being at different spots in the NFL, can you compare the training camps of the other teams to Chicago's? Would you consider Chicago's more restrictive with some of their media policies?
With the access?
Yeah, because this is something that Phil and I have to. Phil's in Connecticut, I'm in New York, and we're like, why can't they just live stream these damn practices for fans that are everywhere. I know New England does it. I think Minnesota did it at one point. It just
they did
to me,
have a
it just-
live stream a couple years ago in
It
Minnesota.
just baffles me. I just was wondering how you're, as
Clay Harbor even was talking about it last week. Like,
Yeah.
you ain't inventing the wheel, guys. No
Right.
one's getting any.
Well, I honestly don't think that it's the coaching staff or the general manager. Like, very clearly, they've got bigger fish to fry that they've had to handle since the start of training camp. I think it's just this paranoia that's within the NFL. Like, I've covered 4 teams. My first year and a half in the NFL was covering the Raiders and 49ers. 49ers were way more restrictive than the Raiders were, and that was a team that was 2-14. So, I mean, I think it just kind of depends where you are. I will say, I'm hoping that open locker room will get us back into a different way of covering the team, because, we've all been like chomping at the bit to do that now for a while. Unfortunately, that's going to happen, I think, on Monday. So it's, I'm not surprised by the restricted access throughout camp. And I know that, like, they don't want, you're limited in what you can report. You can push the envelope a little bit, but sometimes it's just not worth it. But I would, as far as I can tell you just in terms of like the difference of practices, like Minnesota had a lot of veterans. And I think, to Mike Zimmer's credit, in the later portion of his career up there, he rewarded those guys, the Harrison Smiths, Adam Thielens, Danielle Hunter, like the people who had been there with him forever. Like, they weren't going 100 miles an hour in practice. And I was talking with a colleague up there that apparently it's like Club Med for the players in Minnesota. That is very clearly not the case down here. Like, yesterday was interesting because it was an in-season Wednesday, according to Matt Eberflus. They're going through their game week. I've never seen a practice like that on an in-season Wednesday. That was one of the most physical practices. I mean, their thud period was like effectively non-existent. Like those, I mean, you could hear like pads popping. I know that's such a cliche, but it's true.
No.
Like, and it was hot and they were in pads and it went a long time. So, I mean, if that's the culture that they're setting, like the standard that they're setting here, you don't want to burn guys out with that. I think that there is, the hits principle has been talked about a lot throughout training camp. And, I think Jalen Johnson gave probably the most honest answer about it yesterday. Like, when I asked him about it, because like, it's clearly worked in certain places like Indianapolis. We'll really get to see how it works here if things aren't going well. Like, you can have every acronym in the book that you want. You can implement all this stuff. We're changing the culture. We're setting the standard. When things don't go right, do they still fall back to the standard? Like, that's why they're establishing it right now. That's why I think it's so important.
Exactly.
But to get the buy-in on that, you got to do it now before the season starts. And I feel like that's what we've learned from camp, like a team that's trying to shift things in a different direction. And when you talk to the players who had been here before, just how different that is, the accountability aspect, the hustle aspect. And I know it sounds so cliche. And even like, like I asked Jalen, I'm like, it sounds kind of college, right? He's like 100%. And he didn't buy in right away. Like, but you can't fault guys for not buying in right away, because some of that stuff sounds very collegey in the NFL. And, a lot of college coaches have not panned out in the NFL. Certainly Matt Eberflus has been in the NFL and has a long pedigree in the NFL, but he also has college experience. So, if you're a player, you hope that, okay, there's been a proven amount that we can fall back on, that this stuff actually works. So, that to me, like, just seeing the difference in practices and seeing how players respond differently. I mean, you have a young team, an impressionable team. Got a team that has some veterans who are on 1-year prove-it deals. Like, that type of stuff is, players I think are more ready to respond to than a veteran team. If they were that's probably why they ended up moving on from so many guys in free agency, because those stuff like that doesn't hit with everybody. Like, and you're not going to get the same buy-in that you would guys who are on the other side of 29.
Oh my God. I hate that you have to leave early, because it's like getting to that part of the steak. like the bone, the T-bone, where it's just the best, juiciest part. That's what you're giving me, because this is right up my. This is what I've been praying for, the Chicago, but because the only way to stop a losing mentality is to change the culture, and you need someone that's going to be consistent with that. And let's just be honest, you've been around the NFL, so have I, for years. When guys get paid and they hear, hey, this is the road to easy street now. And a lot of these coaches that want to be hard asses or whatever, they lose because they're not consistent with it. The guys that have won that are consistent with it, Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Bill Belichick, these guys have been consistent. It's an expectation. So you either buy in or you get the fuck out. And that philosophy has never been here since Mike Ditka. And it just so happens that's when you've won. And whether you like it or not, I'm loving so far what Eberflus is doing. And I believe it happened with Soup Campbell, and it happened with everybody down the line into the players. Go ahead. You want to add something?
No, I mean, it's hard because it's like we're in a day and age where you get old heads who say, well, these players are too coddled. You can't yell at them. You can't do this. Like, I've seen the Parcells model implemented and falls on deaf ears. I saw that in Minnesota. So, like, there's a line that you have to straddle. And I think Matt Eberflus, just his general demeanor, like we've talked with people about it. We were talking with Andre Curtis, safeties coach, yesterday. Like, have you ever seen him yell at anyone? And he's like, well, he can get your attention. He can do it in a variety of ways, but he's not, like, even at practice, like, you're not seeing him cuss guys out. Like, you're not seeing him scream at the top of his lungs. Like, you'll hear Luke Getsy yelling. Like, and that's
right.
Like, I think that Matt Eberflus, and again, he has not coached a single game as a head coach in the NFL. They're 2-0 in the preseason. Everything's okay right now. But, like, what happens when the going gets really tough? Like, because does he change his personality? Because I think the way that you can sell the hits principle and actually seeing results from it is by not having that Parcellsian mentality. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. Tom Coughlin, that's a different era. Players now don't want to be screamed at. They don't want to get chewed out for making mistakes. There's constructive ways of doing it that are not the hard ass way of old. And I just think that in sports, period, in coaching, period, you've got to find ways to empower people instead of tearing them down and expecting that process to be what motivates them to do better. Like, you see this in all different sports now. I think best coaches are the ones who can explain it in a calm, rational manner without embarrassing a player. Like, we've seen that happen a lot in sports when, I go back to the final couple weeks of the Mike Zimmer era in Minnesota. I don't think that what he said about Kellen Mond was, I mean, you burn it down. If you know you're out on the way out, you're probably taking that same approach where you take everybody with you if you can. But you guys remember it's after the Green Bay game.
Yeah. Right? Oh yeah.
Like, do you want to see Kellen Mond in the preseason in the final game against Chicago?
Yeah,
like,
that was really. that was you asking him.
Yeah, not really is what, like, why? I see him every day in practice. Like, emasculating players, like, it just doesn't work. Like, everybody's got egos, and I think that bringing it back to, like, the Bears and the hits principle and just kind of how Matt Eberflus is trying to build something here. You don't get your way by yelling and screaming and, saying this way or the highway. Like, I remember just going off on a tangent, like when what's his name? Is it Dennis Allen that got fired? Whoever that, like, Tony Raiders. Yes, Tony Sperano who got left in London. Was that Dennis Allen?
I think it was Dennis Allen, yes.
In 2014, when Tony Sperano, like,
from Connecticut.
Yeah, God rest his soul. He's one of the nicest coaches I've ever worked with. Passed away in Minnesota in 2018, like right before training camp. But he was the interim coach that year, and I remember they were like 0-4 to start the season. And I remember talking with a player who was on the team. Like, after that, like, they did the whole thing of, like, let's bury the football somewhere on the Oakland Raiders practice facility. I still was never able to find the spot where they buried it. I searched for it out there, but they had like a team only meeting, and it was kind of like, if you don't want to be here, get the fuck out. And it's like, coach, we're under contract, like can't just walk out. Like, but it was well intentioned, and obviously he was so revered and loved by his players, and he was the hard ass on the outside, but like the teddy bear on the inside.
Exactly.
It was the reason that the glue, like he was the glue that was keeping that staff together in 2018. And honestly, I think a big reason for the fallout between Mike Zimmer and former offensive coordinator John DeFilippo that year was because Tony was not there to kind of be the buffer between the two personalities. But it's like, you can have that gruff mentality where, you know, it's us against the world type thing. And not have it be so intense that it turns players off. And I just feel like Matt Eberflus has a good balance of that, at least that we've seen right now. To kind of, I know I went on a belabored long point about that.
No,
there's a lot that you can get.
I think it's important, because if you love, and I mean that truly, a coach who's a hard ass and the expectations are clear and they're preached over and over, if you can let the players know that you really truly love them, but these are the rules. That is the important. Some coaches don't get that last part about the love part, and people will laugh or whatever, but there is an understanding that coach has my best interest at hand, and that at the end of the day wins all. And that's where you build this culture, and the Bears have not had it. They've had phonies, frauds, and fakes at the coaching position. Eberflus, to me, has done everything right, and including this. I'm excited to see
just the injury stuff. That's the only stuff that drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
The injury stuff.
And I think that they're going to have to dial back some of the intensity in practice. I do think that, you know, some of these soft tissue things, like in the way that they've talked about injuries. I mean, we're going to get an injury report. I think it's 2 weeks from today. Is the Wednesday of week 1. So we'll have a better idea about it. But I'll be really curious to see, because we don't get to be out there that long, but like, what do practices look like in season? Because at some point, I mean, you can't be tackling to the ground. You can't be going 110 miles an hour during a work week when you're trying to make sure that guys are fresh and able to be playing at 100% on Sundays. Like, this is the NFL.
So real quick, Phil, because I know we got to let her go.
Let her go.
Yeah. Courtney, we have a fan request. We watch all of the press conferences, all of the post-game pressers, and fans can't hear any of your guys' questions ever. And
does the mic not pick it up?
Oh my God.
It's terrible.
It's a nightmare.
Terrible. And so like we do BHL, we go live right after the games, and we have like 3,000-4,000 people on with us live in our chat room, and to a person, we can't hear any of these reporters' questions at all. So we're trying to let all the media members know, when you're talking to whoever you have to talk to at Hallis Hall, we need some mics in there so the fans can hear some of these.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, to be quite honest with you.
Terrible.
Like, I always thought that
and it's way worse this year. It's way worse.
The worst it's ever been, and we're like trying to quiet down the crowd. But we're
like, shh. I feel like we're at a golf event.
What did Courtney? We're trying to.
I'll just try to yell louder. Does that work?
Yeah.
They should get
Shane
the
and
Sally.
Phil, can you hear me? Coach Flus on 4th
Phil,
down.
Shane,
why didn't you challenge? Right?
Why didn't you throw the challenge flag, Coach? Please. No, but you're the best.
Let them know Shane and Phil hate that.
Yes,
I shall.
You are the best. Seriously, you're doing a tremendous job. I won't say what I said to her, but I feel as though there's big things for Courtney Cronin in the future. And you do a great job, like I said, prior to you coming on the air, getting the root of the issue and doubling down until it's answered the way you need it to be truthfully answered. And that means a lot to us fans, and just keep doing a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing the interview with you and Justin Fields more. And I'm excited about this. Real quick, you going into the locker room and getting to know that young player or the surprise guy that made the roster. Those stories have been a miss since I was a little kid. I loved the underdog story. The guy like Dieter Eisland from Yale, who only played football organized for 6 years, and here he is on the Bears. And that I want to know the story from your point of view. Those things are important. I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. No, I think that it's the blessing that we're past the pandemic, at least enough where we can go back and do our jobs, because, I was worried at the start of the pandemic when the NHL was still playing and they closed locker rooms down in March of 2020 that we might never get back in there. And it's important. Teams can say what they want, leagues can say what they want. That sort of access helps us do our jobs. And you can never just kind of, default back to, Zoom access or, podium access. Like that can't be the default anymore. Like we had to push for this. And I'm really glad as a league, especially the Pro Football Writers of America, like we have a great group that like levied, for a lot to get this. So hopefully it'll pay off this year. I'm really excited about it.
I got to give you credit too for your Fields interview. My wife walked in and she never wants to have anything to do with football, and she sat down and started watching it, and I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "That is the cutest." I love her handbag, because she could see your handbag in the in the interview. It was off to the
my
corner on the seat.
My makeup bag. It's currently sitting over there.
So she liked that. So I thought,
I think I got it at TJ Maxx if she wants it.
One of her favorite places.
My daughter works there. How about that?
Great store. Get me a discount.
Listen, we got you a discount. Hopefully when we come to Chicago, we'll get you out with all of us. We're going to have a huge TTNL meetup. So I'll keep you posted on that. If you could, definitely. It'd be great to get you out with. We won't have crazy people there.
That's okay.
Bratcher won't be.
I can deal with the crazy. So
okay. You have a great night. If you're not following her, I don't know what you're doing. Follow her right there at Courtney R. Cronin on Twitter. Right, that's your Twitter handle.
Yep.
And follow her all over. I can attest. I have been very hard on ESPN. Their broadcast, but Courtney is the Rocky Balboa of the broadcasters on ESPN. She's the fighter, fighting for the truth. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I hope your mom and your bro find their bags.
It'll probably be the day that they're leaving. I think the game's on Saturday and they're coming back next week. So
She's gonna go down.
Next time I come on, I'll let you know if they how the trip turned out, because I'm sure that wasn't the best start for them. And I'll let you know if I kill the flowers or if they're alive by the time that they get back. So.
She's gonna get offline and go in the basement and go play NBA Live 97. I think it was, right? It was
many games.
All the best.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Courtney.
I know. Courtney Cronin. She has to bounce. She's got a lot to do. A lot of things to do. Like Claudio. 50.
Oh,
9.5 logos.
Let's keep it 100.
Oh my God.
Can I come back on? I asked for 2.
We will get into that, but Courtney is outstanding, man. I mean,
I had to get that one in about the presser because it was weird listening back to it a second time. I was listening to our feed of it, and it was just awful. It didn't sound as bad on my end listening to it live,
right?
But listening to our feed of it, it's just terrible. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of the questions that the guys ask, the reporters ask or whatever, but you definitely want to hear what they are. And then at this point we can tell who's asking them also. But the fact that they don't have mics in there for these
just pass the Sally, Jesse, Raphael mic.
Yeah.
Like even
Oprah Winfrey.
Turning up the volume like in editing doesn't even work. Like I'm listening. I've done it. It's even worse. It makes it even worse. So I don't know. They need to do something about it. They need to give them mics or pass the mic around. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Is that hard? Pass the mic around.
Then you wouldn't get Larry Mayer interrupting Courtney and Dion, whoever else.
Yeah, I always get so mad when he asks this question and then it's followed up by two more. You know that.
My God,
they're cutting him off. I always want Matt Nagy did it once to his credit. They were holding his feet to the fire, and they said two more, and he's like, "No, I'm good. I'll answer these." I wish Eberflus would do that more. You know, give it back to him. You're not running this presser. I'm the head coach, and I'm going to answer whatever questions they have.
I agree 100%. That is the truth of what needs to be done. You're sitting there. It's not like you have played a game yet.
Logan says you're old as shit, Phil.
94 logos old. I'll tell you that. I probably am old. I said Oprah, Sally, Jesse. I grew up in the 80s, bro. You were sitting there in Philippines thinking the fucking UK office is better than Michael Scott. Don't even put his fucking comments up. Get me fired up. Fucking UK office. Who the fuck watches the UK office? Isn't there like 7 episodes? That's it. How many episodes were there of that?
I have no idea.
Isn't there like a season? I think it's like a couple seasons.
Can you check on that, Claudio, and do some shit, or Jackal? One of you guys.
This is Claudio.
Listen, before we get BHL,
I'm waiting for
He's overwhelmed. Give me some fucking names. Every week we're gonna understand the fucking why. Bears Hour Live right after the Chicago Bears versus Cleveland Browns game. I was fired up on the preseason just for the non-challenge and the broadcast of ESPN. I think we kept it 100 to Courtney. I didn't want to get her in trouble. That's the place she works for. But that was a disgrace. You know,
yeah,
just
it was bad.
Embarrassing.
It was.
I get what she was trying to say, but you're an NFL analyst and you're there for the week. You should know who these players are. Number one,
they should definitely know who Ryan Poles is.
They should. You met with Ryan Poles.
Steve
You
Levy
heard her
said
say
3
that.
or 4 times. Yeah, we met with him today.
Exactly.
You know, we met with the Bears.
He's fucking
GM.
calling Sean Desai Ryan Poles, bro. Then Dan Orlovsky.
It wasn't even Sean Desai that they're talking about. It was the Bears media relations director.
Really?
They said
He's
today,
terrible.
Yeah. I mean, Lawrence Funk was on here saying that he's cutting up Ryan Poles every 5th day, and I'm like, that dude wasn't cut up in going on 60 days.
The other thing was they're calling freaking Justin Fields Josh Fields.
Yeah, the
listen,
ex-White
so
Sox
many
prospect.
things.
Yeah.
You're sitting there. Think about this. I need to change the way these broadcasts. I mean, I can help ESPN. They're right, literally 7 minutes, 10 minutes away. Focus on the fucking game. Stop focusing on the soap opera. Nobody fucking cares.
Oh, you didn't like see Dan Orlovsky eating his cupcake with a fucking candle? That wasn't awkward or anything.
He took cupcaking eating to a creepy level. It was like, who the fuck?
He was putting it around his mic, and
yeah, what is it? He's dipping his
so
fucking
odd.
pinky in there.
See
what he does.
He pulled the candle out and he was dipping the candle in the frosting.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah, it was very.
But yeah, that Courtney should be broadcasting the game for them, for God's sake. Josh Fields, you're right, GCA. It was embarrassing. It was frustrating and embarrassing. John Madden should be their story, their script. This is how you broadcast the game. John didn't give a fuck about where the guy was, what he's getting paid. It was a 5-second talk about a guy holding out. Okay, the game is the sell. The game is the sell.
Do you
We're
feel
trying
that,
to sell fucking sound drops.
Do you
Go
feel
ahead.
the problem is the 3-man crew? I mean, you know,
Oh,
is it the 3-man? I
Terrible
mean,
crew.
not in particular the crew itself, but like just having 3 guys in the booth. I mean, do you think 2 guys is a good set, or do you think 3 guys is a good second. For me, I think 3's a crowd.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think two.
I agree. So see you later. But anyways, 2-man's always better, dude.
That's fucked up.
Good shit. But seriously, but no seriousness. Like I don't need a Dan Orlovsky when you have a Louis Riddick already there. And even if Louis Riddick is gonna blow the fucking, the entire game, it's still better than hearing Orlovsky. It's just awkward because Dan doesn't know when to fucking come in. Louis is talking about one thing, Dan's mentioning another, talking about how he fucking ran out of the back of the end zone. I don't want to hear that
This
shit.
is to your point. Shane has talked about this before. And I don't want to tickle anybody's fucking butt cheek here with this statement, but if you're a beat reporter of the Chicago Bears or any football team, know that there's 500 million other people that wish that they could be doing your job. And there in the front of the line that you stand, you have a responsibility of watching and appreciating what is happening. So if the guy's from West Minnesota State and you're just figuring that out, you took the time to study the motherfucking roster. I got a fucking roster right here. Right here. Ron G sent me it with fucking Pringle on the cover. He's number 13. So I'm taking this fucking roster with me on the plane. I'm studying both teams, every player, and I'm prepared to broadcast the fucking game because that is my job, and I owe it to everybody that's watching the team from either city and either fan base that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And to your point, a lot of guys are standing there enjoying the fucking cupcakes instead of the reality of what's going on the football field. That to me is, and Louis Riddick I honestly thought Riddick was going to be great. I used to like Riddick. He's become an egocentric elitist.
Well, he changed his whole thing. He was the creator of Maserati Mitch. He was praising his boy.
And he changed that, right?
Oh, when everything came crashing down, yeah, he changed it real quick. But Nagy is clearly his guy. But the thing with Orlovsky, what drove me nuts more so than anything is this is essentially your dress rehearsal for when they go, the regular season. Craig Gabriel went on Twitter and called Dan out. Dan was they were talking about, what's most important, the 3 technique corner or the will linebacker and stuff like that. And Dan was kind of very dismissive of the will linebacker in the cover 2, in Lovey's scheme or in Eberflus's scheme. And so Greg Gabriel, to his credit, called Dan Orlovsky out, didn't tag him in the tweet. So Dan, who's on air broadcasting the game actually went on Twitter and had to search his name up to see what come up, and or
someone sent it to him, but he still
either way, yeah. But I'm just saying, right? He was not tagged in it, and he got bent out of shape about it.
Responded, you're on fucking Thursday
responded
Night Football.
in game to Greg Gabriel
to Greg Gabriel's fucking. That is the show. You're not paying attention to the game, man. Oh, don't try to be the smartest, the first, the most narcissistic. Try to be authentic.
But one of the people in the chat had it up early. Orlovsky's been up and down for a while, but I lost all respect for the guy when he went out nationally and started questioning Justin Fields' work ethic and saying last guy to the complex, first guy to leave. Yeah. And I'm like, we've studied all these guys. I never, ever heard one thing about Justin Fields' work ethic ever being called into question. I mean, even I know I bag on Mitch a lot. I never heard Mitch Trubisky's work ethic ever questioned. It was always, no, he's
a leader.
Busting his ass. Yeah, he's busting his ass out there. But when he did that shit, and then he, the hellstorm came down on Orlovsky for that, and then they legitimately brought people out to tell him that it was a bunch of bullshit, and he did backtrack on it. And it's just, that's
what Cyro said here to this is the staple of covering your bases.
Yeah.
You talk one way to schmooze one person. Listen, I was talking to my friends and I discovered there's certain things about me, about loyalty, about friendship, about fans, about everything. I am never going to be that person that is sitting in your face talking beautifully about you, and as you walk away, I'm sitting here, I fucking can't stand that guy. That's just not me. What I say to fucking Bratcher in front of everybody is what I say, or Claudio or Jackal or whoever, Cam, Logan, I will say it right to them the same way. I don't like, I'm going to play to the crowd. So you could love me, hate me, whatever, but I have always stood for the truth. And that's how Shane is as well. And Coach Nagy, when everybody was fucking throwing pom-poms in a parade, I stayed with what the tape told me. And people could change a narrative real quick. Say they said one thing, say they said another thing, but you've said everything. So you've covered everything. It's tougher to stand in your analysis of truth. And when you don't have one and you're just reading what everybody else is saying and that's just never going to be here. I don't like that fakeness, that phoniness. That's why I'll never do that. I'll never panhandle to get me and Olin will never, ever agree on Sam Mustafa. I will never flip-flop. I won't do it. I still will go to my bed tonight saying Teven Jenkins should be starting at left tackle for the Chicago Bears. Whether anybody agrees with that or the Bears do that, it's on them. But I've been telling you things that have happened and should have happened for years. Finally, we're getting a maniacal. I don't know who this offense. I saw Dieter Eisland go out there and fucking destroy people, starting Seattle defender. How did they do it? I can't make it happen with tape. He did it. So that's what I point out. If he sucked, he sucked. If the punter get out there and sucked, we'd be saying it's a terrible pick. Mm-hmm. If Justin Fields goes out there and he plays like shit, I'm going to talk about Justin Fields. I think Justin had to play better last week. I didn't like the fact that he didn't take off or just was impatient in the pocket. Now we're going to see a bigger taste of that. And it'll be more analysis. You're just going to have to go to the right place for it, because last week, Joe Schmo is talking one way. Today, he's talking another. That's not what's going to go down. And none of these guys will do that because they know I'll fucking pull their card. Like, no. You were just talking Khalil Herbert's better than David Montgomery 2 weeks ago. Don't fucking get it twisted. I will call you out. And tonight, I got so fucking fired up. Again, Shane giving me this fucking tweet from Cam Ellis. I'm like, you're going to take a shot at what it seems like this network, then why don't you come on this network and try to take those same fucking shots, Playboy? Because I know the truth. We can be the contrarian bullshitters according to sources. That ain't ever happening here. There's no stance that anybody's taking on this network to get likes or clips and have a fucking full-on, whatever with people. This is what you do. The tape, the truth. That's it. The tape tells it. There's no narrative. There's none. And Jai knows this isn't fantasy football either. So
we only have two logos.
Look at this guy. Look at that guy.
107 logos.
Oh my God.
107.
107. Speaking of fantasy football and logos, these guys are going to have a fantasy football show coming up. Keeping It Fantasy on TTNL. I've already heard the intro music. I've already heard what these guys are planning. We're excited. I don't know who's cutting tape. I can hear it. It's Jackal. It's gotta be.
Not me.
He's like all proud of himself when he's doing it too.
Oh, no, you have no idea what's happening over here, Phil. You have no idea what's happening over here.
Are you okay, sir?
I only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
Jackal better do some shit. Jackal better do some shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit now. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal better do some 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 shit. Jackal don't do shit.
Jackal better do some shit. Are you doing some shit now?
He is.
I was. I'm done.
He was working on something for this guy, but
Oh,
Phil, you got a question here.
His masterclass been put on no. How many times?
In season.
These guys, come on, man. I think I tell you this all the time. There's going to be like 2 shows a month within the season. The
season's almost here. Can we just have it now, Phil?
The tape is the paint. So I don't know who's doing what to get what kind of tape, but some of these guys have the all 22 tape. Obviously, we don't over here. So this network is waiting for the NFL Plus now to then first game, San Francisco, Chicago, the paints come out. That's when the editing and the producing and the breakdown and analysis. Again, I'm not going to be out there on Monday morning fucking breaking down television copy of angles and guessing. I'm going to watch the fucking tape for the fucking truth and not try to beat anybody out there with the fucking, I want to be the smartest. I want to be the best. No, I want to be the best. And then you decide what's smart and what's not. We could talk about it in a fucking
First doesn't mean
media chat room.
Exactly.
Talk about it in a media fucking chat room. Yeah. Talk about that shit.
Self-promotion.
Yes.
Fucking
but
chumps.
Here, I'm going to be breaking down the tapes, keys. My father will then take in a masterclass your questions and we'll go through them and we'll break down exactly what it is. You want to know what the outside zone or power is versus a underfront, whatever it is, that masterclass, even if it's 7 technique or 9 technique versus tight end and a wing. You want to know what that is, then we're going to break that down. That's what the masterclass on Patron, the tapeneverlies.com is going to be. So that's another show. Fantasy, Keeping It Fantasy is going to be live on this network, on this YouTube channel with these 3 clowns right here.
If you like logos, this is going to be your fucking show.
247 logos
every fucking week.
Every color on the color wheel.
We got
Alex Acevedo. Alex Acevedo has decided tickle anybody's fucking butt cheek here with this. That's right. We don't want to tickle anybody's butt cheek with a feather.
Well done, sir.
Ivan Vargas, Christopher Jackal, and Claudio the Barber. Should I not give your government name? I don't want to be Cool Kennedy. Right, Cherie?
That's not your real name.
No, Barber. Yeah.
Claudio the Barber.
Yeah,
If those
man.
of you just tuning in, we had Courtney Cronin on the show early, breaking it all down. We are coming to Chicago for the Lions Bears weekend. We are going to be promoting the tailgate as well as a special patron party the night before the Lions game with TTNL, with Eric Kramer, Chris Zorich, Courtney Cronin, maybe. I know David Kaplan will be there, Kenneth Davis, a bunch of people, guests from the show.
I love all of them.
Cherie will be there. Cool Kennedy will be there. The music will be there. Alan Bratcher will be there. Chris Jackal will be there. Will Caden Whitlow be there? That's what everybody.
We got to see if we can get him in.
We got to get him in. Is he of age?
Caden's sister.
Well, it's all going to be there.
Jackal,
Let's talk a little bit. I want to just drive home this one point before 6 articles are written and all this other. Smash the fucking like button. Do that right now. We're playing gassers in the middle of the show. We sprint to the line, touch the motherfucking line. All it takes is to run, touch the line, and run back. I was making the kids do it tonight. Smash the like button, and then come back and listen to the show. Let everybody know about the
nobody
tape.
likes brags.
Let everybody know about the Tape Never Lies Network. I just want to say real quick, Eric Kramer's QB School. Yes, that'll be Thursdays on the Patron, where he's breaking down 4 or 5 Chicago Bears plays with me on Thursdays. And we'll break down the tape, what Eric saw and what he's thinking and what he believes Justin or the Chicago Bears need to be doing. So that'll also be there, the patron side, the tapeneverlies.com. My video series, the Draft Dr. Phil's breakdowns, those will be on the patron side. You'll get a little taste here on our YouTube. Go here, become a patron. There you go. Did I miss any? X's with the O's on Saturdays.
Yep.
X's with the O's on Saturdays. And that will be similar. And sometimes we'll have Eric Kramer on as well with us. So pay attention to that. That's breaking news. And of course, we showed you Cars Keys.
Yes,
you're going to get a taste of that tomorrow night. Cars is going to be breaking down Cleveland with my guy, Shane Marsaw. The Smartest Man hoodies are available.
Tell a friend.
Tomorrow night, they'll be there live. When are you guys kicking off your inaugural show, Keepin It Fantasy? When is that?
You want to let him know, Claudio?
You want me to?
Yeah, hit the drop.
I mean,
what logo will be worn?
Come out next Tuesday. Next
Tuesdays, yeah, because it's going to be Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights.
Next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
They'll be
10
kicking it off, Keepin It Fantasy. Logan Frost may go crazy, tickle anybody's fucking butt cheek here with this. That'll be Logan. He'll be tickling.
Logan, it's just us 3, no Alan. He thinks Alan's on the show for some reason.
So the show will actually be pretty good. We'll have some laughs, some actually not forced humor. And we're actually going to talk some fantasy.
Jackal is getting after you tonight, Brad.
Unless that dragon was fucking a goat.
How's that go, Shane?
10 p.m. Did you say?
10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central.
There you go.
We're going to be giving it to you every Tuesday night. Plug that and cut it up, Shane. And
we're going to be giving it to you.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. We're going to, Ivan, Claudio, and myself, Tuesdays, 10
there you
p.m.
go.
We look forward
you like
to seeing
fantasy
you guys. Keeping it
football?
fantasy.
They're going late, 10
going
p.m.
late night. Pillow talk with Claudio.
You going to be able to stay up for that, Cherie?
Claudio's logos.
I think if I could power through this one, we be up to what? 1 o'clock in the morning?
No, we will not be.
No, they won't.
Yeah, we're gonna keep our show to like an hour or so. So don't worry, it's not gonna be
90 minutes is the cap,
gonna be a
according
marathon.
to the lead dog, Mr. Ivan Vargas.
7 minutes of
We're gonna
content.
shoot for an hour.
7
We have to
minutes
go
of
through every
content,
logo
53
that
minutes of
Claudio got for
logos.
the show. Yeah, we gotta go through
Now
every
this
logo.
one's got a little different hue, and it's tilted different.
This is
A little
mauve.
tilt. You got like the 43-degree angle on it.
This is
one-
Sanskrit.
I can
Hold up.
I can flip this one back a little bit. $14.95.
Wait, I mean, are we gonna fill everybody in on this shit?
I can
I
pull
Yeah,
it
you got
forward.
77,000 logos for the fucking show.
I
and
asked
TTNL
for
has
2.
6.
Alex all of a sudden comes up with 50.
Give me
I
some
asked for
fucking
2.
names.
That's it.
Give me some fucking money that day.
That's right. Hurry up, motherfuckers. Our time is valuable, motherfuckers.
This is on a 14-degree slant. It's gonna fuck up our whole show. The fucking logos.
People watching
that shit be twisted.
Oh, fuck.
They'll be live next Tuesday. Keeping It Fantasy should be a lot of fun. If you love these guys, tune in, give it a shot as they build their show, their brand. Keeping It Fantasy. I know I'll be tuning in, just waiting for drops. Don't even get us started. That'll be at the end of the show. The Alex Acevedo.
No, this is we have our radar on Claude's forehead.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Claude's number 1,
keeping it
Alex
up.
2. The two, they look alike. Even my wife was talking about the other day. Alex and Claudio do look like they're relatives.
This is how it went down.
Alex is changing the narrative.
Can we can we do a Acevedo Fernicola Step Brothers t-shirt for
Yes.
the swag shop?
Yes.
That would be
Please.
fucking great.
I'm gonna need it in yellow, pink, purple, blue.
Fuck.
It's like Lucky Charms, for God's
This
sake.
is a warehouse for all those fucking color options.
Fucking
Jesus
purple
Christ.
horseshoes. No, but I want to get back to the point that I was trying to make before Logan started tickling butt cheeks. It was all about heart and understanding. I know what Courtney's saying, but I'm telling you, being around football and coaching, there's a line of toughness and tough love that a player can understand the difference, whether it be, you can't let the accountability be lost. It's got to be consistent across the board. And I think that's what's going on. And I think the important thing, it was also Jalen Johnson talking about it. I think it was very important that in the confines, and if you watch BHL, you would have heard my dad talk about this, in the confines of these expectations comes them getting into football shape. You're conditioned. So if you're conditioned to not loaf, if you're conditioned to run every time, then the game is fucking fun. The game is fun. So all the hard work, all of that, that's why you fucking play the game. So you're already conditioned. Just think about, I always would tell my players, think about the fucking donut on a baseball bat. When the guy's in the fucking batter's box timing the pitch, he's timing it with fucking heavy weight on the bat. Guess why? Because once he gets up to the plate, if you're timing it with weight on the bat, you're going to be able to, that bat's going to be fucking light. It's the same concept. You hustle, you do it all the time, you get to where you're going faster, quicker, stronger, and you're more confident. And that conditioning is very important. So instead of getting it as a punishment at the end of practice, no, we're going to run every fucking drill. Do it over, do it over, do it over. And then you manipulate the situation and say, oh, we're only going to do one fucking sprint.
Well,
One fucking sprint.
When your rosters are expanded right now, I mean, to Courtney's point, when you're trying to set the tone, it's exactly what you have to do.
Exactly.
You have to. Yeah. Jalen didn't buy in. Jalen got fucking demoted.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came back. He fought back, and now you see that he's bought in. We're not seeing that with some players.
It was you who said, and it's on the BHL promo. You were like, in the song, if you listen to the new BHL song, you'll hear Shane. I don't give a fuck if he's upset. We're not winning games, and he's talking about Leno, so put him on the fucking bench.
Yeah, who cares?
You're setting a culture of accountability, but at the same time, listen, the Bears are going to surprise so many fucking haters and people just based on that conditioning. Forget about all the X's and O's and all that shit, all the plays and all that. If you have a team that's willing and physical, I mean, what was the thing? They beat the fuck out of the Seahawks because they are been conditioned, and Ron Rizzle is mentioning, I believe, JJ Stankovitz, which he was on this network talking about how he preached it. This is a cultural change, and that defense is going to help you win football games. So if Justin Fields takes the leap, and we know how I feel about David Montgomery, and he runs the ball the way he does, then all these national narrative haters, we've dealt with the haters forever. We had fucking people hating on, no one remembers it, but me and Shane probably, and maybe Claudio, because he was around me bitching about it, but people were hating on Olin Kreutz, Ruben Brown, Roberto Garza, John Tate, fucking whatever the fuck, the right to Fred Miller. They were hating on them. They were hating on Charles Peanut Tillman, saying he wasn't that good. Now everyone looks back, oh, he was great. He should be a Hall of Famer, 100%. But the reality of this, it all changes the dynamic. So we always have to fight for what wasn't happening with Nagy's culture, which, oh, by the way, we were right about. Old network, we were right about that. It's not a new philosophy in the NFL. Football is always going to be about hustling, blocking, and tackling. And if you don't hold anybody accountable to those standards, what are your fucking standards?
Mm-hmm.
You never found the why. You never found the identity. And what was the other thing? He always would say something else. I forget what it was because it was so fucking dumb. It drove me crazy. But the reality is we can fight all we want about Mitch and what he could have been and should have. At the end of the day, that's done. This chapter is this. And Shane, I want the truth right here. This is before the season starts. If Justin Fields is not the fucking answer now, and we see deer in the headlights, moments lost, the Bears are picking in top 5. You're taking a quarterback.
You're in quarterback territory, 100%.
Hell fucking yeah. I'm right step for step with you.
You only get so many swings up there. And if you're up there and if for whatever reason you can tell that Justin Fields isn't the guy, there's no other way for you to go. There's got to be a quarterback there that you believe in. Ryan Poles has got to look at him and say, hey, hopefully it's this dude. I mean, now hopefully it's not Bryce Young. We'll get into that on Draft Mob, but I'm just saying you're up there for a reason. If you bottom out, Justin Fields isn't the dude, and it's evident. Yeah, you're damn right. You're back in the quarterback market, 100%.
Stay there real quick because we'll be live breaking down college football.
Now, I will be shocked. That's how much I believe in Justin Fields.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But I'm just saying we got to keep it 100. This makes people nervous. Like, you have to pull the trigger on the most important position in football. If Justin doesn't show signs, you will know about it on this network. There won't be this early panic button. There will not be that. And there'll be plenty of debate, just like we'll be debating whether or not we like the kid from Alabama. I know Shane and Bratcher don't. I love the kid. So that'll be a contested debate.
Speaking of contested debate, guys.
Yes.
So we have our last preseason game, right? And we're talking about buying in. We had some roster cuts that might have surprised some people. I don't think it surprised anyone here. Any surprises you could see coming up by Tuesday? You know, I know we got auditions still going on for this game against the Browns, but anybody you're thinking?
I don't think anybody would be truly surprising. I mean, it's obviously you got your, I mean, Darnell Mooney and guys like that. Would they move on from a? I don't even know who would be considered surprising. Tavon Young, maybe a guy like that. If he
has not practiced,
but I mean, Thomas Graham has got to get healthy. Is a guy that
he has not practiced.
Is young, and I don't know if they can end up stashing him on the IR. He hasn't practiced at all, but I just think that the way that this roster is constructed, nothing would be. Now they're going to be 100% in waiver wire mode. Courtney said top 3, but I believe the Giants drafted, the Bears pick was what, 7th overall, I think, from the Bears. So that's where they fall in line.
Isn't that how it goes to start the season?
It doesn't switch until like week 7 or 8.
Okay.
Based on your record. So it's based off. So whatever the Giants drafted with the Bears pick 6th or 7th last year is where they'll be. I mean,
Chubbs makes a great almost question.
Oh, if you listen to Richard Hightower, he essentially confirmed that he's making the.
That's a great name because that would be the guy that I would be shocked.
Yeah.
If they cut him. I'm not saying they will.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think they have enough quality depth there. I would be that. I mean, it is a good name because I would be shocked if he got cut. But I mean, if you listen to Richard Hightower today, he was essentially confirming to anybody that was listening that he's making the team.
So is the question is who we'd be surprised or what?
Exactly.
I don't think Sam Bourne is getting cut. I think he made the team.
But I mean,
so that would be a surprise cut if he was. Again,
yeah.
I think DHC is not getting cut.
No.
That would be a shocker to me. That's some
to me, if I'm coaching the team, DeAndre Houston Carson is a guy that's walking out to the middle of the field every game with the captains.
I agree with you.
Is Roquan a captain this year?
No. I would
Is
totally.
He? Yeah. Would you make him one?
No. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Would you make Roquan Smith a captain? You're the coach, Shane.
Is he picking them? Have they announced it? Is he turning it over to the players?
I'm Googling it as we speak.
Oh, he hasn't committed to that yet?
I have no idea.
What's his name? Asked him, our guy from the Sun.
I think the way that things got contentious in negotiations, I don't think if Eberflus was choosing, I don't think he would choose Roquan, because the thing that got me with Roquan is coming out and you're still trying to negotiate through the media, and that's you have zero leverage, so you're grasping at straws. And I can already probably see the Chubbs comments coming up defending Roquan and the situation, but it's just Roquan played his cards way too fucking early in this.
Chris Jackal apparently flirting with
Hey, who did that?
How do you do that, Chris?
I wish it was me. Pretty sweet.
Could have just texted her.
He could have just texted her or DM'd her.
That's pretty cool.
The Bears' newest depth chart had is it pronounced Tongas? Tongas?
Tyra.
T-O-N.
Oh, that's Blazing Game. Yeah, they have him listed as the second string fullback now.
Yeah, he
on the depth chart. So
let me tell you.
Well, that's going to be because Blazing Game. I mean, I think that they obviously earmarked him. Would that be a surprise? Are they going to be higher on Tongas?
Oh, Blazing Game or Tongas? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think the Blazing Game situation is injury related, obviously. So what is his status? Is there any update? They won't give a status, but has he practiced?
Yeah, it wasn't anything broke. It was I believe, considered a sprain.
But they cut the guy they brought in right after.
Oh my
right?
God, that guy was in for like 11 seconds.
Yeah, it was a cup of coffee. Yeah,
I think that's good news.
I even had a good gift,
injury, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's
the Grandpa Simpson comes in, hangs his coat, goes out the door.
Claudio hired him to draw logos because he's unemployed.
2,047 logos.
Just relentless. Oh my Lord.
About as many
Blazing Game. I disagree. I think Blazing Game is keeping the job.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah,
is going to make the team. He's going to be.
They're going to keep two.
Yeah, I think he's going to be that H-back. I think they're going to, because what I've seen on film of that kid is he's just outstanding blocking. Again, I got to look at this whole thing. We're going to do a whole thing prior to next week. When do they officially cut, Shane?
Next
we got to go
Tuesday.
live.
Yeah, it's got to be in by Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So
Sunday we'll go
Tuesday at
live.
like 3.
There's what,
3
23,
p.m. I believe.
23 days in between the last preseason game and the first.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of movement.
First game. They're gonna. But I think a more interesting thing is I think they're going to be looking at 3 technique in this waiver wire process. If there's anybody that Eberflus looks at and is like, that's a dude that we can work with. That, I mean,
yeah,
is
a good question right there.
Now, I've always been a big fan of Mario Edwards.
Yeah, you love him.
I've also been skeptical if he was going to be a guy that's going to buy in to the Hits philosophy.
I have not seen him. Have we seen him?
Probably not a good thing. Well, I guess it's a good thing that he's not getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on 3rd and 14 from hitting the quarterback late. But
I'm liking what I'm seeing with Tonga. I'm liking what I'm seeing with Angelo.
Yeah.
Blackson. What about Angelo? Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's going to be interesting.
Yes!
Jones has been looking good.
Yep.
It's going to be hard because everybody focuses on the offense. But
here's your debate with Logan, Phil. He thinks that Frost is going to make, or Snowden. Logan Frost thinks Snowden's going to make it.
Does he want to make a bet on that? That's the question. Because I could never see Snowden making this roster. I will be shocked if Snowden makes this roster.
Romkey had to correct you, Shane.
Romkey, 14
Thank
days.
You. TI-82, that bad boy.
Yeah, from the second to that's what it was. It would have been, they were talking about it on Hogan Johns because they were wondering if there was going to be, if they didn't play, their Hogan Johns post game was recorded before Eberflus talked about who was going to be playing and the time. So after the Seattle game, they're like, if they decide not to play him in the 3rd preseason game, it's going to be a 23-day layoff for some of these guys, and that just makes it even more of a mistake. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, it was they were talking about if they didn't play them in the preseason finale. Yeah, and go ahead.
No, I want to be able to decide because there's no script. We go live here, or should we do it Patron Sunday and bold predict our cuts, who we think they're going to cut?
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll definitely do it with our patrons.
Okay, so there you go. Sunday, that'll be our X's with the O's and Shane. Maybe we'll get a crossover with Cars and bold predict our final cuts, final Bear cuts.
And head over right there, tapeneverlies.com to sign up if you want to have access to that show.
And I put up a few things. I want to shout out Ron G, the genius, I'm calling him, because he's found a way for us to add more content to our patron side, and I'm excited about that. So that's how we're gonna do it, man. I'm excited about it. The other thing I want Teven Jenkins watch, Sam Mustipher watch. Is Lucas Patrick going to play in the opening?
I think so.
Game?
I think so.
All of these things, all of these are going to be important watches on. So you definitely think Lucas Patrick will?
I think Patrick will be out there. I think Brisker will be out there. You see him with his cast on. Pringle, we'll see. You know, those high ankles can be. Wasn't it Brisker or wasn't it Pringle that had was his high ankle?
No, it was
Pringle was,
that was Harry. That was N'Keal Harry. I'm sorry. Right? Yeah.
Is N'Keal Harry going to make this team?
I think so.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. I think that they can put him.
Could they put him on IR, you think, Shane, and stash him?
Remember, I think you have to. Rule? Yeah. I think you have to because they gave up what was it, 7th rounder in 2024, I believe. So the draft capital is not that bad, but I think they want to give him a chance because he's a wide receiver that the Bears don't really have. He's a bigger bodied guy. He's not a burner at all. One thing that I'd want to see from him, and I know we talked about it with our patrons a couple of different times, even though he's, that in that 6'2" range, 6'3", some places have him listed at 6'4".
Says he's definitely closer to 6'4".
Who said that?
Mark Grody saying he looks like he's huge in person.
Yeah, but his catch radius isn't that of a big wide receiver. So that to me is an issue. Yeah, but he's a guy that can still post some guys up, and he's like I said, he's a wide receiver that they don't have. I wouldn't cut him. I would see what you have in him. I mean, this is the year that you find those things out. Obviously, Velus Jones, obviously he went out there. Olin brought it up, and it's a great point to bring up. He's gotta get that ball up, man. Velus is carrying that shit low and outside, and that is, you start fumbling that football, and he did it on his first time he touched it. I don't care how explosive you are. You're going to be explosive running your ass to the bench if you're fumbling the football. You got to get that. It's got to be remember the Tiki Barber issue. You got to get that ball up. Yeah, high and tight. Exactly.
High and tight. Got to have it high and tight. Tajay Sharp, I'm interested in seeing because we saw.
I want to see.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Took the step. Then he wasn't in last week's game. So I'm a big fan of him coming out when he came out. So
how many wide receivers do y'all think we're actually gonna carry?
Good call. Bring up the depth chart.
Right. Wide receivers.
Yeah, I'll grab it.
So they obviously have Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones, Byron Pringle.
Yeah.
St. Brown.
I mean,
Quinnipiac St.
Brown. Jesus,
he's definitely making the team.
Yeah, he's
Isaiah Coulter.
Coulter gone. I don't think Coulter's making this team.
Pettis.
Dante Pettis has shown me a lot of toughness when it comes to punt return.
Chris Fink.
He's a practice squad guy.
He
ain't Webster, the kid returning kick.
Simba Webster.
No, he ain't making it.
We got Velus Jones doing that.
David Moore.
David Moore is placed on IR.
He's on IR.
Okay.
For the year, right?
Well, he could be to return, but I don't think
there's something about Dante Pettis returning punts that I like because he saves you.
I don't know if
downs and distance. Kevin Shaw, no, he's not gonna make the team. They cut LaCal London, a Ryan Pace project.
So you got Coulter. You're saying he's gone. He's gone. He's got practice squad. And listen, this is 100% gonna. When I mentioned the 3 techs, this is another place where they're gonna be looking. I mean, Darius Slayton is a guy that I think they're gonna be 100% in on if he gets cut.
From the Giants. And they're trying to trade him. And I don't think we're also going to talk about, Shane, some potential cuts.
Sean Coleman
come back. Who would help? Sean Coleman.
Sean Coleman, I thought I was shocked that he made this wave.
Me too.
Made it through this wave.
Surprised a lot of people.
I was shocked that he made it through those first 5.
Yeah.
Were you shocked about Dazz Newsome getting cut?
Not at all. I've talked about it all off season. Dazz can literally dazzle you with some plays, but Dazz needs to work on being a professional and taking everything serious. And you got to catch the fucking football when you get your limited opportunities. And but so Coulter, I think a guy like Fink is going to be a guy that they put through onto the practice squad.
I think Coulter can go on the practice squad.
Yeah, he's got eligibility. Yep, he does.
From University of Rhode Island.
Yeah,
he's from this area.
Velus Jones, though, he's getting these little nicks. I don't like that. That's
not a good start.
No, it's not. I want to see
a good
them.
start, but he's definitely making the team.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, but it's just
but it's just I don't like seeing rookies come out the gate like that. But Pringle. It's going to be interesting, Phil, like you said, the Dante Pettis, Tajay Sharp,
right?
Simba Webster. I mean, Simba Webster is a guy that the Bears actually claimed last year from San Francisco in cutdowns.
Yes,
that Ryan Pace claimed, and they thought enough of him to bring him back. But it's going to be interesting. I think that there's going to be some names that we're talking about here that are going to be gone, and you're going to see a new wave. I would keep your eye on Kansas City's roster for their offensive linemen. They're going to have to make some cuts. Look at Philadelphia for their cuts because Ian Cunningham came from there. It's going to be another interesting thing. Giants with our wide receivers coach came from there. That's why I think if Slayton hits the open market, I will almost guarantee he's a Chicago Bear.
Yeah,
I think so.
I like. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a guy that they're all over. If he gets claimed, he may go ahead of Chicago. But I think if the Bears are able to put in a waiver claim on him, I think he's as good as being a Bear.
He's very productive, Slayton. Like even with he's plays for the Giants. He plays
for
the Giants, so.
Yeah, he'll have his fucking moments where you're like, oh shit, how the fuck how'd you drop that ball? That's he has those moments.
I don't think you'll see the Chicago Bears, Daniel, pick up OBJ. OBJ is looking for a ticket to the Super Bowl, and the Bears are trying to build a culture. You bring in that kind of guy with the potential to destroy. And listen, he could go in there and be great, but the potential of ego, we'll just say, you have to be hesitant to that as you're trying to win games. So it's better to bring in some other talent. I don't even see him wanting to come here. Same with Antonio Brown. You don't want that kind of structure. You don't want
the everywhere, but
that's not the philosophy that they're working off of.
I'm going to be interested to see, again, for you patrons, the cuts that are made. I would like to go on and then say, okay, these are the guys that I would, depending on how many roster spots the Bears have open, to see who they would claim. But when you look at the Bear, Equanimous St. Brown is definitely on this team. Pringle, that's 2. Obviously, Mooney is 3. Velus Jones is 4. Now, how many are you keeping?
I think you're going to put
6.
I think you're going to put Harry on IR, so that's going to open up a spot
exactly
for somebody. But I think after that is the sweet spot where I think you could see 2 different guys from other teams in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So they could cut all the guys right here we talked about.
They could.
Except for the 4. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I know Phil brought up Dante Pettis. I think that there could easily be another guy out there that they like better. I mean, Pettis to me is somebody that's interesting. He's got that. He was a former second rounder, but he bounced. Tajay Sharp is another one. I know Phil was
a
big
Tajay
fan
Sharp.
of him, and everybody loved that catch. And he's made some productive catches, but they're going to be looking that this waiver period is going to be extremely interesting. The Bears claimed one guy last year. I think you're going to see 4, 5, maybe even 6 in these cutdowns. And the bottom of this roster all season long they're going to be funneling guys through.
Fuller from Houston, Will Fuller, I believe. He's always
hurt.
He doesn't have the toughness. And you got to look at it like the Bears are going to run the football action game off and do a lot of what you see San Francisco do. You have to have some physicality on those routes that you're going to be asked to be running across the middle. You know, there's a place for a guy like that, but Mooney is not someone who's afraid to take a shot. So Mooney's going to make himself some money this year. I really believe that. But
are they going to keep 4 running backs?
Evans.
No.
Evans will probably do
They're going to keep 4. They're going to keep 3 running backs and a fullback. So, yeah. I was thinking Blazing Game, I believe, is making this football team. Yes.
But Herbert's dinged up. I don't think Blazing Game did practice today.
They're saying no brace on him right now either. I was reading online.
What's the story with back to the receiver? With Sharp, is he back practicing? Because I didn't hear it.
They sent out a list. Like I can look up what Courtney. She had a list that she sent out.
That's all they're allowed to do now.
Right.
If you're just tuning in, we had Courtney Cronin of ESPN and ESPN1000, the Bears reporter there. Go ahead.
Velus Jones, Treston Ebner, Khalil Herbert, Angelo Blackson, and Mario Edwards were all out today at practice. Caleb Johnson returned after exiting the Seattle game with a knee injury.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert was present and went through stretching, but nothing else.
Okay. What has been up with Ryan Griffin?
I just think he's just
a veteran that they're stashing there.
Yeah.
I've seen O'Shaughnessy, I've seen Allen, Tongs, and Cole Kmet. I have not seen Griffin out there.
Our guest last week was talking about Griffin a bit. Yeah, Clay Harbor saying that he absolutely loves him. Consummate pro, great on and off the field. I think he expects him to stick just as that veteran influence and a guy that's the running game is going to be a big part of what these guys are doing. And that's one thing. I mean, you look at N'Keal Harry, that's one of the biggest benefits to his game. Ryan Griffin is a good blocker. That's another thing. Blazing game, they're going to have a fullback like we talked about. So that's everything.
T. Haran and you and I were high on Chase Allen coming out of Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
So Allen and Tongs kind of battle O'Shaughnessy and Ryan Griffin.
Yeah, to me, Chase Allen was the best blocking tight end in the entire draft. I mentioned
Why
that.
Why are we hiding Cherie's face? They want to know. Alexander,
put me down below.
There she is.
Below. She's not ugly.
Yeah. No, Chase Allen is somebody I honestly will not be shocked if he makes this 53-man roster.
I thought we'd see a little bit more of him in the preseason, and maybe we will this Saturday. But also, you can't. I know performance over politics, but there's politics going on. That may be a guy that they're looking at like, hey, if we play this dude, he's going to get claimed. And we don't exactly have a open spot. So if we keep him limited, maybe he's a guy that we can try to sneak through the waiver wire, and then nobody will want to put him on their active 53, and we'll have a spot for him. Because let's be honest, guys, every single year there's going to be guys that get cut that we're like, what the hell are they thinking? And then by week 2 or week 3, they're still in our practice squad. And these other teams have to love these guys enough if they're going to claim. If you get claimed, you're not claiming them to put them on the practice squad. You're claiming them. If they're claimed, you are on the active 53. So the Bears are going to put out a 53-man roster, and after the way that this works is after week 1, these veterans that are unsigned, you're going to see a bunch of these veterans get signed, because then if they're on the roster week 1, their salary is guaranteed for the entire year. If they sign after week 2, it goes week to week. If they're on the roster week 2, it's guaranteed for week 2. If they're off the roster week 3, it's not guaranteed. So that's the workaround that all of these guys are playing. That's when you're going to see a guy like Will Fuller get signed by a team. Nobody's going to guarantee him any money for the season with his history of not staying healthy.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting how this roster's built. It's crazy. Every year we covered this team like nobody else, it seems, and we talk about these bottom of the roster players, and the national media as well as the local media would infuriate me and Shane because they don't recognize how important, as Shane coined it, the fabric players are. And a lot of look at how someone's calling, Houston Carson a possible captain. This guy was a fringe player no one talked about. In fact, I remember some ESPN producer and Yurko not even knowing who the fucking guy was. Who's number 36? He's been on the fucking team for 7 years, and they didn't know who he was. And it just infuriates me, because if you're going to cover this team, there's no excuse not to know every player. I would make Claudio fucking know every player, their college, and what year they were, their number rather. College, name, and number. I would quiz him on it, and he would have to pass every guy's name, because that's how you should know the team. So,
speaking of Claudio, is this coming back in a few days?
Yeah.
Hey, cut it out. Hey, cut it out with those logos. What are you doing?
The Niner game. It will be back.
49er logos, baby.
Yeah, 49er logos.
How many we getting?
49 of them. Alex Acevedo. I blame.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
They love ball. Gotta do what you gotta do. Work that ass for daddy is gonna be the story of the Chicago Bears preseason. Who's working that ass? Daddy would be Coach Eberflus. He's watching to find out who these cuts are. Cut it out is coming back next week. Claudio will be talking about cutting it out. Who's cutting it out?
Niner game, not next week.
Tickle anybody's fucking butt cheek here with this. Don't get everybody happy, Claudio.
Phil, you want to laugh live on air? Look at your phone from the text that Larson just sent.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
I was just texting with him, so I hope he's not making fun of my ass.
You gotta work. Yes, Jim. That is exactly who that is, Jimmy. Are you watching, Jim? Are you in the chat? Shout out
he's
to
watching.
Jim Anderson. Well, listen.
He's always watching.
He's always watching. They're checking in on us. He's negotiating a couple new sponsors, Cherie.
No, we're very economical, my friend.
Yes, he's very economical in this family. Jim is being economical for this family as we negotiate some new sponsors. Phil, what is it with you and butt cheeks? Listen, I'm like Cosmo Kramer.
What's wrong with that?
I'm like Jackal. I'm an ass man.
Fuck yeah. Fucking love it.
That's one of his show segments.
So are we excited to have Cherie back?
Absolutely. Excited.
Cherie, who did you miss the most on the panel?
Really, Shane? Why do you always try to do this?
I can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but Chad's 82.
How could you not miss?
Jerry missed you.
Jackal.
Bill.
Love you. I miss every last one of you.
Yeah. Just not Bratcher, right? Because he's not here.
No.
Did someone put it up? Look at you guys with these drops.
I got it up.
You're actually gonna be my House of Dragons buddy, so I can't.
How was that show, Cherie? Is it a thumbs up? Don't spoil.
Yes.
It was?
It's a thumbs up.
Yes.
Claudio, you as well?
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean,
Now,
it's
just
the first
set-
episode.
Set the stage.
Just one
so
logo
I
to
get-
start the show.
Set the stage.
Jackal, please. Don't even. Don't even.
Did we get him?
Jackal.
Did we get him?
Jackal.
Oh, shit. I got it up. Were you asking about the...
So set the stage. Is it a prequel to
It's a
what?
prequel.
So it's like 200 years
It's
prior.
200 years before Game of Thrones.
Okay. 200 years in advance.
And its focus is the Targaryen family, so that's why it's called House of Dragons. It's all about their line.
I just got another funny text from somebody on this network.
No, boy.
Wants to know who isn't an ass man.
Yeah.
I won't put their name on
man.
Wall Street.
Cherie,
Cherie, you're not checking out Will Mookie Hill's ass, I think.
She's a front man.
Look at the. Do women do that
Right.
shit? Like, look at the ass on him.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Thank you for
There it
that.
is. 49 years I waited for that answer.
I like the Manscaped man.
Oh, a hairless man is what you're saying.
Well, still.
What about his beard?
Well, sorry, Vargas. That counts you out, bud. Motherfucker shaved at 5 p.m. Look at that.
Fucking world record.
Oh my God. I don't know where Bullets is tonight, man. He's trying to break news for us for tomorrow. I don't know where he is tonight.
Daz got cut.
We will be live on Bears Hour Live.
Been waiting for.
Bill.
He's
overwhelmed.
Give me some fucking names.
Every week we're gonna understand the
Give me
fucking
some
why.
fucking names.
Right after Bears versus Browns, we'll be going live to break it down. What transpired? The first team playing a whole half. How's Justin Fields gonna play? Who's gonna be the standout? Will David Montgomery play in this game, Shane?
No. Shouldn't.
No.
I don't
Will
need to
not
see
play
anything
this.
from Demo. No.
My son is getting upset. He's getting into. I don't know if I like this coach. He doesn't play David Montgomery. I go, he's taking it easy.
Joseph,
Anybody-
you call that a horseshoe when it's down there, right?
Listen.
Well
Does
done.
anybody believe Montgomery's going to get some reps on Saturday? No. Jim Larison is back in the chat.
I got it up.
I know you did, Claudio. I know you did. You got a bunch of those fucking graphics up. I tell you that. Look at first class Fernicola t-shirts. Get a bunch of those
Print them
logos.
out.
Alex Acevedo's working on 27 first class Fernicola logos.
Getting us a suite when we in Chicago.
What's that?
Claude getting us a suite while we in Chicago. That's what we want.
Right. If I had that Patron money, maybe.
Oh, there it is. There
Ain't nothing
it
left.
is.
We had to fucking pay for logos.
Listen, I get it. The fantasy was a little bit crooked. It's a little bit crooked. According to sources.
You want it to be professional? You want it to be half-assed? What do you want? I mean, what the fuck?
Nobody's
Got
gonna
it up.
Nobody's gonna watch this shit if that fucking logo is at 14.
That's right. It's coming right in the start. You gotta fucking be right.
Claudio.
Then let me do what I had to do.
That's it. Well said. Well said.
Oh.
Yeah, you look at the tape. So as a coach, your resume is the tape.
Speaking of the tape, I saw a question. The defensive line. Team defensive line. What are we looking at there?
I think it's in play, man. In
yes,
the waiver process, I think they're going to be all over three techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's taking shots at Claudia. Even Larison. Oh, there it is. Bullets. Breaking news. Bullets. Breaking news. No, the defensive line. Mario Edwards. Could he be the surprise cut, Shane?
It all depends on if he's bought in to this philosophy. And I mean, I think that you can question it. There's been some. Listen, I think to me, I know I think they have him listed at end. To me, I think he could be a 3-tech all day long on this defense. I'd love to put him there and see what he can do. But his head's got to be on straight, and he's got to be bought in. But some of these guys, you know, approaching 30, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I think they're going to be. I think there's enough talent there, and you have to have some guys that are going to veer off center a little bit, and you have to be a strong enough coach, a strong enough coaching staff to get these guys back in the lane. You know, that was one of the things that they talked about with Teven Jenkins. Hey, the kid, if he's got some issues, you better fucking coach him up and get him back in line the way you want it. That's part. You can't have a roster full of choir boys. If there's going to be guys that are questioning you and pushing your buttons, it's like raising kids. All kids aren't perfect. Sometimes you have to give them a little bit of tough love and get them back in line. It doesn't mean that they're bad kids overall. And hopefully, you know, my philosophy with Teven Jenkins is 3 weeks ago, we were assuming that he was going to be traded for a conditional 6th-round draft pick, and right now he's your starting right guard. So to me, that's progress, and I'm fine. I want the best 5 on the field, and if that's with him at right guard, then so be it. I want the young guys out there playing. You know, Riley Reef, do I need to see him play? No, I'd rather see these young guys out there play, but at the same time, it's got to make sense for Justin. But let the young guys play, and if they slip, you got the vets to come in there and try to clean it up a little bit.
I don't know. I honestly have been down this road. I'm not in the locker room. Haven't asked the question about Teven Jenkins, but what you said is appropriately true. What Bratcher's saying in the chat, I don't agree with. Don't. It's not the right position for him. He's the left tackle. If he didn't have any psychological or whatever, all of that stuff, he would be your tackle. There's something that transpired that he didn't buy into or whatever, or they're putting him at guard. But I know what I saw on tape, and I know what I saw on tape when they played him at right tackle. He was much better than Borum. It could be as simple as this. Borum can't be as athletic and strong at the point and play what they want at guard, so we got to make a decision. We put that. To me, I wouldn't do that as an offensive line coach. I wouldn't. I'd find another guard, and we'll see. I said the same thing about Kyle Long, and people were like, well, he's a Pro Bowl guard. He could have been a fucking Hall of Fame left tackle. That's the difference. One which we will see. But I'll stand on that all season long. But you need to, no matter what, put the best 5 out there.
If Braxton Jones is struggling, right? And I'm not saying that he's
a great question.
Braxton Jones is struggling week 3, right?
I guarantee they put Teven Jenkins out there.
Right. Do they make the move? Like, do they make
have
it right
to,
away? And that's why they wanted offensive linemen that could play multiple positions. And not to say that Teven was fighting him to play guard, but maybe that was part of a rift that was there, that he didn't want to make that transition to guard because he feels he's a tackle himself. But I don't, speculation. But like, I mean, it's great. It's good to ask. Like, I think that's something, especially with a young guy, You were brought in here to play a tackle position, a premier position. Now they're telling you to play something else. I could see where you could develop a chip on your shoulder. But if you have a guy with this much talent, he's willing to go ahead and play guard. If Braxton Jones is struggling, are they going to be ballsy enough to make that move?
They better. I know he has the talent. He's the most talented out of every one of them.
Because Braxton's their guy now. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. And that's where Shane's talking about.
Yeah, they're telling you how much they think of Braxton. When these guys got five or six plays last week, he was out.
Mm-hmm.
Justin left. His left tackle was out. That tells you exactly what they think of Braxton Jones. I think if he's struggling in week 3, I think they're gonna let him play through it.
Really?
I do. I think they believe in the guy. And I think that they know that there's gonna be some bumps in the road. I mean, I think he would have to be putrid for them to pull the plug on him.
This quick. Is a franchise. Now it's a franchise. This is a different culture, but you all know Charles Leno stayed out there. A narrative is still being built about Charles because he's in Washington. But when you watch, he's getting QBs killed.
Yeah.
And he's getting plays blown up. He was soft. All of the things that showed up on tape. We didn't make it up. I didn't have some graphics guy make Leno. It's like, fuck, this is going on.
And you're pushing, like, not that it would pull the plug that soon, like week 3.
Yeah.
But if he starts struggling during the season, you know, that'd be something to watch. But
well, they're coming out the gate with some legit firepower against them. But I think that's the thing. They're gonna make him. They're gonna try to make his job easier with rolling him out, obviously, and trying to get this running game cranked up and, you know, buy him some time that way. But I think they're all in on Braxton Jones, and I think that's pretty obvious.
You guys are so bad.
I didn't do. What we're laughing.
The scroll. I was trying to make a point, and then I see the scroll. Oh my god! Next Tuesday night, I'm sure these guys can explain all of that, or maybe later we will in the shout out segment. But one last thing before we get to shout outs, obviously, two things. We got to talk about nickel corner, but the center position, I hope and pray that there's real performance based on this. And my gut was they're going to fuck this up and not play the starters. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to see. And hopefully Lucas Patrick, he came here to be the center. What Sam Mustipher is at guard is what he is at center. I don't see it. It's nothing against Sam. I just don't see the fit, athletically, twitchy, powerful player. I was hoping that he'd put in that work, Shane, and me and my father were talking about it. But he came in heavier.
Right, a lot heavier. Well, it comes down to strength. I mean, Olin talked about that with Sam. He needed to get stronger. And he was doing that by putting on pounds. But don't forget about some of these younger offensive linemen on the roster. I mean, Zach Thomas, Duke Manoweather was giving him props openly on Twitter today. Zach Thomas, about things that he's like. Ja'Tyre Carter is another one that
Ja'Tyre Carter, I like.
A lot of people like
that's
him.
the guy I like.
Yeah,
he showed up.
But that tells you right there, you already have Braxton Jones starting. And just think about it this way: if you hit on one of these guys, it's great.
That's a home run.
But if you go out, let's say he goes out and Braxton Jones holds down left tackle. Ja'Tyre Carter comes in because Cody Whitehair gets hurt. And then Zach Thomas, who knows? And it's things like that happen. Injuries bring up open doors, opportunities for other players. You know, veteran. It's going to be interesting. Could we be? Are they high enough on one of these young guys that they're like, Cody Whitehair's available via trade to a contender? I wouldn't discount that.
No,
that would be a shocker to me. I see what you're saying, but I would be shocked. But
those are the type of
I don't
moves.
see Zach Thomas like he does, but
no, he wasn't saying. He was pointing out specific plays that he said that there's something there that, you know, that he liked. He was pointing out a couple of good reps, but yeah, a lot of these guys have to just be around the NFL life, you know, be around the training program, the weight training, and
he's got a lot of tools. I think he's got to get NFL strength.
Sure,
Zach does, but again, this is the greatest thing about football and the Bear, and seeing for years I've seen the Bears just drop the ball in regards to politics and try to cover your ass based on guys you picked versus guys that are going to help you win. Shane, you made a great point tonight. I haven't seen Mario Edwards line up at the 3 technique, but I certainly know he can give you a lot there if you did. Maybe that's in store for us in the season, you know, but these types of things always baffled me.
They're playing the poker game right now. You saw Richard Hightower come out and say that they have Trenton Gill and Cairo Santos both kicking off, and they may switch it up because that's going to put some pressure on other teams, even because they study the way that guys kick off, and the flight of the ball from Santos is going to be different than the flight of the ball from Trenton Gill. So I like that they're looking at other avenues. You know, it just shows you. When I asked Courtney Cronin earlier tonight about who it was more on, I knew the answer to it. I knew that it was more on Matt Nagy when it was in terms of Justin Fields, but they were talking to some people and said, why aren't the Bears good at screen passes? And one of the answers was what? Because they never ran them in practice. They never attempted them.
They just called them in the game.
Imagine that. They never did it.
I told you about it.
It's just,
that's why.
But
we did it wrong. Okay, don't worry. Let's do it. Especially in screen game, you're going to do it wrong like 3 times. You have to. It's almost like it's an act. So you have to have technique. You also have to not have someone counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, and then go. Like, you have to put in the time to make it look at a coach that doesn't run it back. It's like,
before you move off of Mario Edwards, the other interesting name there that has stood out and has made some plays in both games is Coley, the defensive lineman. And these are the types of things that you see. Is he going to be, is he
making those plays against third stringers or throw them out there?
Absolutely. But he's a guy, he's been in the league for 5 or 6 years. Did the light go on, or is he just beating up guys that are going to be, bagging groceries next week? Who knows? But
was he signed to a team that used them in a different philosophy where his skill set fits this?
Treadway is another one. Micah Treadway is another guy that
he should have had a sack.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Missed that sack. But yeah, that's a guy that shows a lot of twitchiness. But again, we're going to see all that. The last thing is Kindle Vildor starting at corner.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Kyler Gordon, because there's been a lot of talk out there that he is going to be your nickel guy that they're going to use all over. And in this scheme, Phil, you can talk about it even better than I can. In this scheme, your nickel corner is a starter and critical in this defense. Absolutely critical.
Absolutely.
So
your nickel corner has to be able to be a surefire tackler, but also physical. It's got to be somebody who's a willing tackler
and
also twitchy two-way go player. If you can't be that, it's one of the most difficult positions in all of the game because you have so many two-way goes. Yeah. And you got to be physical. So that's Tyler Gordon is drafted because he's so twitchy and athletic.
That's why they took him before you saw in the 1920 football drive, their top two guys on the board was Gordon and Brisker, but it's playing the poker game.
This kid go ahead. I'm sorry, but
no, I'm just saying.
I'll put a star on Brian.
The nickel corner. You cannot forget about that in this scheme because, like you said, Phil, it's absolutely vital. And
Kendall's gonna make this team.
Oh, 100%. But that's
many people hated on this kid
because
this network.
People saw him get scorched last year on a couple of plays, and they're like, fuck it, he's done. No, there's a lot there to like, and I mean, it's Thomas Graham. Thomas Graham hasn't played a snap. He's going to probably very likely be an IR guy. They're not going to. Kindle Vildor fits this scheme.
Yeah, because he's a great anticipation football player.
Yeah.
I think he's a perfect fit. That's why I'm excited to see. I'm hoping he plays outside and starts opposite Jalen Johnson because I think he's going to shut up a lot of fucking haters. But we'll be breaking that all down. Let's answer a few questions before we get the shout outs tonight. This kid, well, Shane,
Shout-outs
first, what time is the show tomorrow night for Cars?
8, I believe it's scheduled. Let me look here. I believe we scheduled it for, or not.
Cars
we, 8:30 p.m. East. I'll give you the exact time. And it is scheduled for 8:30 p.m. East tomorrow night.
Right here.
Cars Keys.
Check it out.
Season 1, episode 1.
Episode 1. Free for everybody. Look at that. Even across the
not all season though. It's going to be
right.
It's going to be free tomorrow night and free for the first 2 weeks, and then starting in week 3, it's going to be over on the Patron side. We have to add more content so we can pay for more logos. For the pod. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Logos.
Shit ain't
9,642.
The kid Gates. The kid Gates. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can we get that drop right there? So, can you say it again, Cologne?
No.
It's all about those logos. The kid Gates, yes, he continues to have an instinctive as well as twitchy, explosive tackles. Like he's anticipating these things. I want to see him. I know there's been a lot of injuries. They had the kid Thomas in front of him. Yeah, but every time this kid has stood out. So I'm looking at this kid and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table.
Thomas would be one of the oldest players on the entire roster. He's 31, I believe. I mean, I know Quinn's 32. So that's they're not gonna get rid of a younger guy with upside just to keep a vet. You heard Flus talk about it. If these young guys go out there and show that they can play, they're gonna fucking play, and they're gonna play a lot. If they show that they can play 60 snaps, they're gonna play 60 snaps.
It's gonna be exciting to see. Yes, there is a fantasy football league. Keepin It Fantasy, the show, inspired the league. And there's gonna be how many teams, Jackal, in your fantasy league?
We are almost to 40. We are trying to get as many as possible. So please hit, if you are a patron, that is the one stipulation, and that you are able to access a computer. Let's roll, or the internet, however the hell you want to play.
Yeah.
But
how long do they have to get in to this action?
Tomorrow we close the list. So we've given a lot of ample opportunity. You can either DM me at Chris Jackal or email me at chrisjackal@yahoo.com. And once we close it out tomorrow, we're going to send emails to everybody involved, let them know what division they're in, and when the draft is going to be. So that those details will be coming out more than likely probably Friday once we finalize everything tomorrow.
There you go. So you got tonight. Sign up, become a patron, become a part of the Fantasy Football League. The TTNL belt.
Guys better be there. Don't auto draft bullshit.
Yes.
Be there for the fucking draft.
Claudio,
Trevor Siemian. I've
make
been
it simple.
with.
If there's not there for the fucking draft, just delete their fucking team.
Well, it's tough because
that's hurt. That's hurting.
Yeah, because then you fuck the league.
I was joking. You got auto draft.
Shane's never played.
I get it.
That's a hurt. But Siemian has shown up. I'm excited. I've actually been very
impressed.
Yes, I've been very impressed, Anthony, with Trevor Siemian. I think I feel confident with his composure.
Yep. Throws a nice ball.
He throws a catchable ball, we like to call that. It's just a catchable ball. So, yeah. Is there going to be 16 players on the practice squad team? Will be happening.
I know they expanded it. Is it 16? I don't think it's 16, is it?
What is it?
Yes.
I believe it's increased.
Somebody grab that. I'm going to answer Corn Planter.
Yeah.
It must be from Iowa. Yes, there's going to be divisions. It doesn't matter if you draft the same guys.
But it's not 40 teams drafting from the pool of NFL.
Right.
4 divisions.
10 division of 10 teams.
Yeah, depending on how many teams we have. When we got to know how many teams we have. We're going to try to get 4 divisions. Hopefully, we can either do 10 teams, 12 teams, if regardless, like Claudio was saying. But you will draft in your separate division, and the winner of each division will end up playing in a Final Four to get to the championship.
So each division will have its own draft.
Yeah, you draft. So you're going into drafting a 10-man league. That's what you got.
He's got it.
Or 12, or depending on how many people.
Jackal, can you put together a little bit of an email? Shane can copy, paste it, put it into Patron.
Yeah, have to.
Absolutely.
Right? This
and
way,
the practice squad is 16. You can go to 16. Yep.
So there you go. 16. That's a great.
That can include 6 veterans.
Great way to wrap up this show. Bears Hour Live will be live Saturday. We will go live Sunday, talk about possible cuts, and we'll be maybe popping up here and there. We'll be breaking down tape and breaking down everything for the 2022 Chicago Bears, where we believe there's hope.
There's hope, guys.
Yes, there is hope, guys, but you know what time it is. Shout-outs time. Where is it, Claude?
Shout-out tape never lies. Shout-out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout-out. I know you see me, baby. Shout-out. We gotta holler at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout-out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout-out. I know you see me, baby. Shout-out. We gotta holler at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
the network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. But some this part signal show is at its end. But for me it's so important. Thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth. No narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Claudio Jane getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say they get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal.
Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holler at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holler at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real. Spencer Strong.
It is that time of the show. Some people hate it or love to hate it because it means it's the end of the show. I don't know what happened there, Claudio. Claudio's logo got in the way. It's never gonna end. Listen, before we go to shout-outs, I have to say this, or we would be remiss. Right now, I'm confirming through a very reliable source that what is going on with Virginia McCaskey is very real. And our prayers go to the woman who owns the team, who's the daughter of the great George Halas. I don't really know Virginia, but I know she loved her father, the Chicago Bears, the city of Chicago. And my heart goes out to her and her family as they go through this. It's not a great time for them. I don't know what it means, but send your love and thoughts and prayers to the McCaskies and Virginia McCaskey.
Yeah, here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I just wanted to. We're gonna do a little bit different shout out tonight, and this is gonna be a universal positive shout out. So I guess I'll speak here for everybody to lead off, and then everybody can respond after me to this same thing. This shout out portion of our show, when Phil and I started this venture, I was at work and Phil and I were literally on the phone hours every day while we were both at our day jobs trying to riff ideas. And one of the things that I said to Phil immediately was, I know we do these shout outs at the end of the show, and Ryan Cox and his wife Erin, who are, Ryan especially, huge influence on everything that we've done, where we've came from, what we've done here with his son Spencer. That's where SPENCERSTRONG came from. They celebrated a huge day this past Monday, and I want to read you this from the Maynard Children's Hospital. We celebrate the end of treatment in P Day for Spencer. Spencer was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2019 and has received a series of chemotherapy treatments and surgeries. This sweet Hot Wheels loving boy is finally done and got to ring the bell surrounded by his loving family. We were so excited to help them celebrate. This is huge. #Maynard milestone. Spencer is changing the light tower to gold in honor of childhood cancer and all of the little warriors fighting it. Somebody that's lived a little bit of that life, obviously, with my son Riley. Know how stressful and everything it can be, but this whole #strong segment started with this little boy, Spencer. You can see his shirt, my last day of chemo. It was tough, but I was tougher. You're damn right. And Ryan and his beautiful family there with Spencer, and that's where he got to ring the bell. If you've never experienced that, if you've never went through that, it's literally life-changing. I got to experience that with my son last October, the end of October. Ryan and Erin got to experience it this past Monday with Spencer. This is the whole crew there, the Maynard Children's Hospital. So, that's the Ryan and Erin's kids right there to the right, and I believe these are the two ladies that worked directly with Spencer while he was on his journey. Phil can speak on this too. Ryan Cox, when we talk about one of the best people that we've unfortunately haven't had the chance to meet face to face yet, but we will, and we will soon. But for somebody that's, a true OG in every sense of the word, somebody that will throw their support to us no matter when, no matter where. Just a dude that is always there, and somebody that we will always be there for Ryan, for Aaron, for his beautiful family, and most importantly, Spencer. It's just couldn't think of a better way to kick off this 2022 season of change in Chicago as Bears fans than getting this beautiful news on Monday about Spencer as he, sets forward on this path of not having to deal with chemo, hopefully less days where he's sick, and there's still going to be some bumps in the road along the way for Spencer, I'm sure, just like with any kid that has been through this process, but not having to see them go through chemo, and that process is just, as a parent who has lived it, it's hard to even speak on. You feel like you won the Super Bowl without ever, lacing them up and snapping a football. So to Ryan and Aaron, we love you guys. Spencer, you're a hero. I said this last year. Spencer was an inspiration to my son who went through this. I used to tell Riley on his bad days, you're 10 years old at the time, Riley was, and Spencer was a lot younger, 2 years old, I believe, at the time. And just one of those, it's truly an inspiration. And this little man right here deserves every bit of positivity moving forward. And this is just the start for this young man. He's, fuck Iron Man. This is a true superhero right here. What this kid has went through and what this kid has defeated. And he's got the strongest of families behind him, and he's got the love and positivity and support of this network and our fans and our patrons, no matter where they are. So it's a testament to this entire network, and we thank you all. And Spencer, do your thing. I know you love Hot Wheels. Go have some fun, young man, because you definitely deserve it.
This is a joyous moment, and obviously we start out shout outs Virginia McCaskey, but the reality of this situation should be one with which pride and understanding. Family is everything, and everybody that's going through stuff, from what we that share with us, that give us permission to share, because we believe in the power of positivity, and that everybody in this community, everybody in this family, everybody in this network matters. And some people, I don't know, are just Scrooges or the Grinch in life. What we saw a young man do should motivate each and every one of us, but to see what those parents and understand what those parents are having to deal with, all those unknowns, all those hurdles, all those obstacles. If I'm sick, I have to deal with it. But with it's a kid or your kid, it's like there's nowhere to go. There's just nowhere to go. So to see what Shane has gone through, and I saw it firsthand, it's like, fuck cancer. The only thing worse could possibly be an argument made for Green Bay, but that's as close as it could possibly get. I say that as a joke, but in all seriousness, fuck cancer, and wow on Spencer. Just wow. It's a point in this network, in the history of it. Some people do this shit. Where's my phone? Here it is. Sir, here you go. Here's here's $10. Let me take a picture of it. Other people be about it, talk about it, live about it, embrace about it. There's so many people you could shout out, but tonight, as Shane has said, gotta go to Spencer and Ryan and his beautiful wife and those siblings. Let me tell you what they have had to go through, and who knows what they're going through. Worry, doubt, jealous. It could be like, oh, why is he getting? They're they're kids. Yeah. So to hold all that together and be a parent and be a fan of this network. God bless them. God bless you all. Everyone. I think Shakespeare wrote that. No, I don't remember who wrote that. Who the fuck
Definitely
wrote
not Shakespeare.
Santa.
God bless us, everyone.
Every time an angel.
No, that's another one. That's
boy.
No. But anyway, shout out Courtney Cronin for coming on the show and all of you guys. I think everybody can agree with what Shane said. Does anybody? Charles Dickens. Look who knew that. Shane.
Yeah.
Look who knew that.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt. This dude comes through all the time. Never a doubt.
I'm waiting for this guy to be a part of this show. I swear to God, Mike Hall. Every time. I love you. Charles fucking Dickens.
Yes.
Hashtag Charles Dickens. Shane, is that it? Are we out?
That's it. Yeah, like I said,
You're not giving these clowns anyone to shout. Claudio will fucking.
No, we got a shout out. We're doing it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, he said everything. Nothing else to say.
We love
Look
you,
at
Cox
Sharice.
family.
She's wearing the shirt.
I thought you ain't prepared.
Holy shit. You are prepared.
Mookie Hill just.
Cars Keys tomorrow night. BHL Saturday. And then it is. Then let's get it on. Let's start up with Jackal, Claudio, and Ivan. Keeping it fantasy. Which logo? Shane's gonna make one of those fucking Wheel of Fortune wheels.
Yeah, how big it's
with
gotta
all
be.
the logos.
They're all dope. I mean, what are you gonna say? Alex did a great job. Didn't even ask him to do all those, but it's all right.
Well, we'll see you guys BHL on tomorrow with Cars Keys. Let us know what you think about it. Smash the like button. Kiss somebody you love and hug them. Everybody have a great night. God bless everybody.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go.
Trading up. 100.
Yes!
What?
Here it is! Or just reporting.
I love all that.
Keeping it 100. The people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
I can only imagine the smells coming in that thing.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Then let me do what I had to do. It's an open competition.
Keeping it 100.
The smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Let's throw curls, curls, curls.
Keeping it 100.
It's an open competition.
Keeping it 100.
The smartest man.
My Chicago
Give me a tackle or give me that.
quarterback, Ohio State.
I think he can get up and go faster than a guy like David Montgomery.
Nope.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
I'm a born American boy.
I know we need to run the ball more.
The number one beer show on the planet.
Get in somebody's ass today.
Fuck yourself.
Keeping it 100.
One time.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
The smartest man.
What?
Keeping it 100.
32 is the identity of your football. This has been a mystery for this shoe salesman for years.
Don't come on our fucking show trying to be a pretentious fucking dickhead.
That's a loser.
Phil, could hand it? This is your dad's thing. Because it's going to show right up in that film, boy. Faith never lies.
Prediction? Yes, prediction.